What's up, Spiral? Oh fuck! I forgot to put my microphone on. How is the audio when I'm using my MacBook? Is the audio okay? Let's plug in the mic. See what happens. Also, gonna do something real quick. All right. Can you guys hear him? Okay. Checking this microphone. 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 It's the handheld one. It is the handheld one? Okay. Um, Let me make sure of something. Okay. Alright. As long as it sounds good, then I'm good. Oh, what's up, Adhilde? You're watching. Okay, I like that. So, I would prefer that people go watch there, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm good. I think my system's set up good. Uh, the I you. I just read about the dynamics of women and men. Okay. Yo, big man, what's up, Delader? Um, I wonder if Mitch is gonna want to watch this. What's up, Xenon, Tresmus? You've been very active in the chat. Tiffany, oh man, so many people. Hello, Giganzi. Oh yeah, a lot of familiar names. I'm liking this. Um, that one too, Spiral, I guess. I would like people to just be less reliant on a single place. What's up, Noah? Bro called me by my last name. There's so many. I mean, should I call you by King D? There's a slight echo. Huh. Okay. Oh, I have two microphones. Okay, thank you. Let me check something. Test, 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 test. Oh, yeah, okay. I know what's up. Did that fix the echo? Is the echo fixed now? Yes, bro. King Don, King D. Brian, Christmas was pretty good. Thank you for the heart me, and thank you for the rose. Does the heart me show up when I stream this way? I'm using TikTok Live Studio now. Um, okay, and the people elsewhere, yeah, better, yeah, that's way better. Okay, cool. I've got this all figured out. Hell yeah, let's go. I got it all figured out. Um, Ziena, yes, I am feeling better. You are not the Z. That is a friend of Elif's, my other friend. Are you trying to play a game? No. So, okay, do I put like an announcement up? Oh, I know what I can do. I will put a note here. Let's see, open note in new window. Okay, and let's do this. How's that? How does that look? And then, sorry guys. Oh, the guy is here. Where? Curbside. Okay, and then let me put up, we can't hear anyone you're talking to or see gameplay. Sorry, I just had to say someone or tell someone what's with the background. Okay, all of that will be answered and more. Sorry, so evaluating a Discord ban. Okay, what's going on here? Sorry guys, I'm still getting set up. Let's see, give me 1 second. Sorry guys. Okay. All right. What's with the background? Okay. All right, guys. We can't see what you typed. Oh, it has to be like here. Is that gonna fix it? Like here. And then, there's so many overlays on TikTok. Okay. Okay. Sorry guys, there's a lot of setup pain. Nope, too far. I'm moving this window around. Okay, and then can I turn this into light mode? View. Format. You know what? This is just gonna have to be good enough. Okay. Yeah, this will work. Okay, we can't see what you type. More to the left and down, thank you. What's up, Not the Lion? What's up, Old Finesse? There's no video here on Twitch. God dang, why is it like that? Okay, Spiral, it's okay, it's a new setup. Okay, thank you for the patience, guys. Hello, Senior Lion, what's your word per minute on a keyboard? About 130. The left is cropped on it. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit cropped. Let me do a quick check on how it looks elsewhere. Let me see. Can I preview my own thing? Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. The left is cropped on it. Yeah, it's gonna be, okay. It looks like it's doing good on red. Okay, all right. Yudahi, okay. More to the left, Senior Lion, what's your word per minute? The left is cropped on it. Okay, I've caught up on chat. There's no video here on Twitch. I'll just leave that be. TikTok is my priority for now. Okay, guys. So today, I'm going to be evaluating a band that I made on Discord. I wonder if the guy is here. I wouldn't mind him being here, but I also, like, I'm gonna be evaluating this band. I had to ban someone, but I was out and about, and just justified, made the ban while busy, saw a phrase that was bad enough. Now I'm checking to see if he was provoked. Key phrase. I think you are fucking stupid. Okay, so thoughts on League of Legends? Have you been streaming all night? No. Thoughts on League of Legends? So I'm gonna be pretty focused today. I'm not gonna be answering questions like that, at least for the first part of the stream. I'm going to be reading, okay, I guess I'll shift this window a little bit. I'm going to be reading the chat history on this Discord, and then making an evaluation. You look like the Scottish Korean. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. So let's go up, let's get some context. Okay. So, have you been streaming on a, okay, so here is the context. I made a Discord, and it's for people who like my stuff. First message is Mitch's hot take about DEI. It looks like there's not a lot of history, so I'm going to read it all out loud. I might start skimming, but thank you, Spiral. So I'll look for that. What was I going to say? So yeah, there was a guy yesterday, and he expressed like a disdain for a movie that other people were enjoying, and it's Knives Out 3, okay? And I'm aware that like my type of content and the kind of videos I make is gonna attract people who are strong about their opinions and who like to argue, who argue for fun, right? But there's levels to it. So Spiral, who's in this, he's one such person. You know, I think he likes to argue. But he and I are both kind of older, a little bit more mature. Like there's a time and place, right? When people are just talking about how much they enjoyed a movie, that's not the time to like argue with facts and logic, or what you think are facts and logic, that the movie was bad. right? You can argue, but you need to be respectful. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's why I say it doesn't have to be fair. It just has to be justified. Does his behavior make the Discord, made the ban while busy? Yeah, okay. Key phrase. Okay. Just justified. Is the behavior killing the vibe? Thank you. I'll probably not eat while I do this though. Okay, you can argue, but you need to be respectful. Okay, was Maya Peachy? Hey, what's up? I'm pretty involved in this, so I'll be a bit quieter. Feel free to ask me questions directly. So Spiral, I need some mods, and I think it would make sense for you to be one, but I wanted to read what happened today. I've made a few people mods. The people who've been participating in my Discord early. Damn, vibe killing is my favorite activity. What's up? You're not Churundo, you're a different guy with an Asian name. Killing the vibe to a bannable extent. Yes. Important Discord things need to happen. Food later. Yeah. Let me resize these chat windows. Give me one sec. Okay, this is good. And this is good. Yo, I'm in this movie. Okay, so everyone's cool with this. And then I think Mitch is cool. So I wanted preferably to hide this name, but I think his profile's pretty private. And then he doesn't have I don't want anyone doxxed over this, right? He's a young guy. So anyways, let's get to reading. This is my type of channel. So right away, there's self-awareness there. Just knowing that he knows what it's about. He knows I made this channel because of him. And I'm good with all of that, right? Okay, Italian food. Let's see, we can skip. So I thought Sinners was overrated. I made that a TikTok. I knew. I'm going to make a little... the Discord link isn't working in your link tree. Okay, I'll fix that. Should I fix that right now? Yeah, you know what? I'll fix that right now. Sorry, guys. We're going to take a quick... Let's see. Invite to server. Hit and use copy button. Okay, copy. Cool. Then we'll move that back. Okay. All right. And then let me fix my link. I've been active in Discord, so it's kind of cool seeing a new server come to life. Yeah, it is kind of cool how it's been happening just over this week. It might be iPhone being glitchy. That's possible. Yeah, it should be the kind that doesn't expire. I set it to be that way. Okay, I'm not going to fix it right now. I ADHD too much. It's a character flaw. I need to stop. Yay, more members. We have fun in there. Yep. Thank you, Adhilde. Baby servers first controversy. Yep, basically. Okay, I'm going to hide the notes so that you guys can see more of the chat. But then whenever people start asking, I'll just flip it up and that'll be the context. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so I thought Sinners was a bad movie. Oh yeah, I wanted to make this quick digression. So I thought Sinners was not a bad movie. I thought it was good, but people are treating it like it's goated. And I knew when I expressed this opinion. So first off, the Forever Player Made, someone who I've just kind of been chatting with, because I watched his lives, and then so I followed him. He doesn't have a lot of followers yet, but I don't know if he's going to keep making content, or if it's just kind of like a lifestyle thing. He did make a funny TikTok that got some pops. Which user is the one in question here? That's going to be Mitch. I thought that too about Sinners. It was just fine. Yeah. So I knew a lot of people were going to accuse me of being racist or not socially aware, And then so it's I was okay with that happening. And thankfully, at least one person who's black just vouched that they also found the movie to drag a little bit. But what I didn't expect is that there's a few commenters where it's are you guys racist? Do you just resent that it's a black movie? And so it's oh no, they're the ones that might come to my defense, but such is TikTok. Anyways, that was my digression. Jay Ganzi started new ADHD, put a Gundam kit together with no breaks. I'm really going to experiment with ADHD medication, with a proper diagnosis, obviously. If this is going, I think people's anti-blackness jump out too fast, possible. And I require we agree on everything. Yeah. Yeah, this is a comment other people have said, where it's other creators have said oh, you first bad take, or I can't rock with you on this one. And it's I think that's fine to say. But also, someone said oh no, this is the first take that's made me reduce my opinion of your intelligence. And I was that's a pretty polite way to say that. So I can't be too mad. But it's is that how it is? If I don't like a movie, it's an intelligence thing. because my criticism was that the movie dragged, you know, although maybe I didn't make that clear enough. Again, such as TikTok. Yeah, the more nuance you get. I enjoyed Sinners, but I did not understand the extent to which it was praised. I think it's because it's a good experience. And I might make this TikTok clarifying. It was a good experience. I don't think it was a good movie, you know? Costuming, setting, also depicting life back then, I was cool with that too. But it's like, it's so weird, the levels of magic that never really get explored, you know? It's like, tighten it up. That would be my criticism. Yeah, people are too polarized. Okay. Hope you settle into the meds. I love this. I've got two different platforms going, or I got multiple communities going, and it's going well. I love this. Okay. No, it's a soft power system. What's this Discord about? It's just for people who like my content to come together. I originally started pushing it a bit when I said I was going to read Hamilton, The Essential Hamilton, which are a series of letters from him. Oh boy, this is going to be a long reading. Yeah. Absolutely, it's going to be a long reading. There will be a lot of ADHD. It was logistically perfect for a movie. If it was a show, I'd like more explanation. That's a fair pushback. Where's the invite? You can find that in my profile, in my link dictionary. What else am I on? I'm on the three big ones. So I'm on TikTok Live, Purple, and Red, where you're watching from. Yeah, thank you. And I don't want to say those names. I think TikTok can be pretty sensitive about those. So if other people in the chat could say that on the other platforms, don't say it in the TikTok platform. I still want you to do a book club. So Shelby, that's there. I just haven't been reading as much lately. I've been pretty busy. Okay. All right, guys. I see people chatting. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. I'm going to start diving into the reading. So this is all discussions on, let's see. I see movies, not even a little bit. Peak delusion. That's wild. Bro, what? You don't like the theater a little full? Okay, so that's cool. So this is hot takes, right? So I'm good with this, right? So people are saying, this is a conversation about, and by the way, we're evaluating the whole vibe in context. Okay. Should I fix the link? All right, let's fix the link because that's the second person to say they have a problem. Sorry, guys. This is going to be a long reading. I'm really glad you're... Okay, Linktree. This should be a pretty quick fix. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's see. How do I log in? This will take less than 5 minutes. Thought maxing, you are talking about it. Makes sense to fix. I'm seeing people join, so it's not completely broken. Okay, so people are joining like right now, Root Toot. Is that what's happening? Okay, then I'm just gonna assume that's the App Store bug. Put the link in chat. Can I do that? I might get in trouble. Can someone else do that? That's not me. All right, let's get to the reading. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm on the tube. Yeah, or can I add somebody as a friend? We'll get there. 3 lines per sidetrack. Okay, by the way, I don't think it's for everyone because it doesn't work for any disc link on TikTok. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's probably, there's issues. If you go, so where am I? So if you go to this, if you enter this URL, then you will be able to find my link on a browser that should be clickable. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Okay. You know what? I need to do one more thing. Sorry, guys. Okay, now we're good. Now we're cooking. You have hair sticking up, bud. Yeah, that's what... Ray, that name sounds familiar. Were you trying to mess with me before? It's okay. You can try to get a reaction out of me. If you're funny, then I'll react. But so John, I'm so glad you asked because I prepped this. So this is the context, okay? I'm evaluating a Discord ban. It doesn't have to be fair. It just has to be justified. It doesn't take someone acting objectively wrong in order to kill the vibe of a community. And my community, the Discord that I've created for like my book clubs and, you know, for people to talk to each other has been amazing. I really didn't expect it to be that way. there's a few people just like really like setting the example for the vibe. Shout out to Just Maya, I think, or I just remember Maya, but I think your handle is Just Maya. Um, Anyways, so what we're gonna do now, you have hair sticking up. Is that the second time you sent that? No, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not the second time. All right. So I'm going to be reading what transpired today. I made the ban because I was busy. I was out with friends, but then I saw the phrase, I think you're fucking stupid. And I was like, all right, I think we got to go. So I banned him. Um, but I want to make sure that nobody provoked him because I also don't like that behavior either, where people are dancing around calling him stupid very directly. And then finally he responds. I think when someone responds to passive aggressivism with outward aggression, that should be forgivable, you know? Okay, so, all right. So I added that context because we're going to evaluate how he's been throughout the whole chat. So people are saying they like the movie theater empty. I don't really agree with that. So I'm okay with like, you know, you don't like the theater a little full. Yeah, I think it adds to the vibe. Like watching like the MCU movies, which Mitch was not a fan of. That was one of his statements. Um, like when Captain America grabs the hammer, like the Mjolnir is responding to him, uh, and then everyone claps. I love that. Okay, all right. So he was fine in this theater conversation, in my opinion. Yeah, I love hearing and seeing people's reactions. I love empty theaters because I get to pretend I rented out the cinema for myself. That works. Peak delusion. Already, I don't love that. That's like a small negative. Why? Why not? Any specific reason? That's cool. It's a little hot, but you know, this is hot takes. For Sinners, I didn't like talking at the damn screen. Like at parts, theater goers are drowning out parts of the actual movie. That's a real thing. There's a balance for sure. For the Spider-Man movies, there's more oohs and ahs. Interesting. Okay, you think so? Yes, I hate when people talk, but like a gasp or a laugh is great. It depends on the movie, just like you said. Okay, this is all good. Yeah, keep it short and sweet. Save the dialogue for the actors. This might have been when the author of an old book dies and people get the rights. Okay, we'll skip that. I hate how they don't skip that. We'll scroll until we see more participation from the person on trial. Okay, here we go. No, he's saying peak delusion, pretending to be alone. He was riffing. Okay, okay, I like that. Thank you, Spiral. Yeah, all right, so you're being very fair. I'll probably make you a mod. Forced diversity in performance-based companies is detrimental to the company. Yeah, this is hot takes. So forced diversity in performance-based companies is detrimental to the company. Yeah, I agree with that statement. The problem with that is like we have to really define what are the initiatives. So like a lot of the language around today is around the recruitment area and like making sure like people apply. As someone in like an overrepresented ethnicity, I am suspicious. Of course I am. It affects me, you know, but on the face of it, in terms of what's the policy, policies around recruiting or making it more available, encouraging people to apply, I don't think those should be illegal. I still don't love those either, but I understand why we're doing it. I think we should be doing it, you know. All right, let me catch up on both chats. Ham, hardly know her. Spiral for mod, yeah, of course. I would like to stream into mod ring, ooh woo. Maya Peachy, are you just Maya? You already are one. You're one of the first ones. Also, what are the qualifications of not being qualified or not deserving? Okay, are we avoiding talking about DUI to focus on the Spiral? Good point. Are we going to avoid talking about DUI to focus on the ban itself? Yeah, let's do that. But basically, I'm okay with this position, but he has to be very narrow in the scope. So I've heard that he gets racist or that he gets called racist. So let's make sure that this is free. Thank you, Spiral. I align with your stance so far as a white guy. Yeah, obviously, you know, whites and Asians are in the same boat here. Let's not go too deep into that. Giving people jobs they don't deserve. So, okay, right off the bat, he's moving the scope of the conversation to a pretty hot take. So don't deserve is like very strong wording. The proponents of DEI would say they do deserve it. Let's talk about what they do in order to increase diversity, right? Because there's ways to do that in ways that I even think are bad and in ways that make sense. Because of race and sex is a bad practice, I agree, but only so far as we accurately define the difference between forced diversity and inclusionary opportunities. Yes. So that pretty much nails, and like it's the end of discussion. And then you got to admit, if you're going to keep fighting it, you have to admit that what you're doing is we're going to examine the line between forced diversity and inclusionary opportunities. But if someone were to say that inclusionary opportunities are bad, it would be hard for me to agree with that. I would say that's not a hot take. That's just like a wrong take. Um, yeah, can someone help out Landon? Um, okay. I saw a guy Reddit complaining about it at the effects and CGI company he worked at, Magic and Lights, and he says it's a worse work environment. Okay, so he brings up anecdotal evidence, but I will say, like, people who feel this way, you're not going to find a lot of like direct evidence because I don't think anybody in like academia wants to be attached to that. So again, I'm acting as Mitch's lawyer and the judge and the executioner. Reddit can't be a good source though. No. Okay, what's stopping someone that's a different race or gender from getting the same job as a white man? It's the same as affirmative action. Certain people are better at certain things than other groups, and it's a fact. Okay, here we go. So he's saying the differences in outcomes are due to differences in characteristics. If someone has less experience but close to the same, they will take the underrepresented person, rather, Reddit user that works at ILM. Okay, so he's quoting Reddit. That's just other people who feel like he does. That's not really that's not an appeal to an authority, Like, dog, how are we? So I'm reading some chat. So hopefully I can make it pretty visually clear when I'm reading chat versus reading the Discord. Like, dog, are we basing how deserving they are because of diversity? Doing it now. Thank you, Spiral. That's usually the first argument people use with these things. Yeah, it's strange that it shows up my name as S. So I turned on streamer mode. It's supposed to truncate names, but I see a lot of names aren't truncated. Mitch, is Mitch not truncated because I banned him? That's a little bit unfair for him. I would have preferred to have held it. What field of law is most profitable? I'm not going to go to that today, Ozempic. This is actually peak content. Cool, thank you. I did think it would be interesting. I wanted to protect Mitch's identity, but his profile is pretty anonymous. So research that is not other names or visible too. I think the longer names get shortened, not just Mitch. Okay. River, you got to rate my dinner for extra content after we evaluate the ban. Okay, remind me. It's going to take a while for me to get down here. Okay, going back to the Discord. I suppose it depends on what things and what groups. What's stopping someone from... Okay, sure, but this just isn't happening. Is this Spiral? The myth of DEI is that's causing unqualified people to get into positions that's entirely invented by the right wing to make it acceptable to judge minorities for existing. Yeah, so are we talking about DEI or affirmative action? Because Mitch earlier muddied those waters. I don't mean to say muddied those waters as bad. He's basically saying DEI can be flawed, and DEI is flawed in the same way as affirmative action. I do know that at Harvard, after affirmative action went away, Harvard admissions for Asians went from 27%, and then 2 years later it was at 41%. That's from the Harvard, the official Harvard alumni network publication. So it's like there was something happening there that's not good for the Asians, right? Whether they would be happy with that as a sacrifice, I'd be okay with it, but a 14% jump, right? 27 to 41. If I'm off by 2 to 3%, don't be mad at me. 14% jump, you can also think of that as 14% over 27% as a 50% increase in the admit rate of Asians. I think that's a lot. If you're going to try and increase diversity and outreach, 14% from one group feels like a lot. Okay, that's how I feel in the matter, but let's not focus on that. I do want to leave that open to debate later, but it's not what I'm going to do today. I'm catching up on chat for a second. Some are not afforded opportunities they're completely capable of excelling at. Yeah, so let me say that right off the bat. So if someone went to a school that didn't offer calculus BC, and then they performed worse in college because of it, obviously you'd take that into account when evaluating their capability and potential for the future. But you have to balance that versus at some point they just have to be purely ready, right? So one of the videos that went viral recently is someone talking about how they had a bad MCAT score and a 2.7 GPA and they got into med school. It's all right, so now med school is responsible for catching you up that much, right? I think it might be too much, but I don't know what kind of program she went to. Maybe it takes longer. What's up, CES? So I do have mixed feelings on this practice. But I do, on the face of it, I'll say increasing outreach, increasing like making people know that they're welcomed That is not a bad thing. I think it's flawed in that it's trying to put a band-aid on systemic oppression. I'll refrain from defending my position to stay focused on the ban. Thank you, Spiral. And I'm also trying to not be too certain. Like, I'm trying to draw very broad lines. Wait, I missed the start because I was driving. He for real typed that out and hit send. Yeah. Yes, he did. Hear about that Brillium guy. Gooseman, I'm going to try to not get distracted. It's more of a correlation than causation, if you feel me. Yeah, I'm not closing the door on those things. I just don't think... So if there are differences between ethnic groups, we haven't studied them yet. And like, I think that study should happen one day. But it's like, there's still black people alive who like weren't allowed to read. Maybe they're all dead by now. It's 2025. But like, as of 20 years ago, like I remember that expression. There are black people alive today who are not taught how to read in their public schools, you know? So it's like, we can't really evaluate that yet. What's up, outer space enthusiast? What do you call a doctor who graduated last in their class? Doctor. You still want very qualified people. Tiffany, I'm gonna not address that right now because I don't want a bottom third doctor, you know? And that's not about race, that's not about DEI. Like there's, out of all the people who got into med school who are all smart, I still want one of the top third ones. I still one of the ones that like care, right? Okay, let's go evaluating the ban. Oh, it's about to get spicy. I left that highlighted, okay. So the myth of DEI is qualifying, it's, okay. So Spiral is basically saying what I think everyone knows to be true, you know? So like the slander against DEI is that they're just taking any black person, right? That's like the position. And the burden of proof is on the people making that accusation. You know, we're not just going to accept that on its fact. Yes, we're trying to increase the amount of underrepresented minorities into like a into like the fields they're underrepresented in. But is that causing unqualified people to get into positions? I don't think so. And I think you'd have, the burden of proof would be on the people accusing. All right, so here we go. It's about to get into the hot take. Gonna take a quick glance at chat real quick. Okay, all right, back to Discord. Black people are better at basketball. Okay, here we go. So I think already I could tell he's gonna say black people are good at some things and then bad at some things, right? But let's go line by line. Black people are better at basketball. Yeah, just look at the freaking NBA finals. You know, there's one year where it's like the Celtics, I think, versus the Heat. Was it the Heat? And Peyton Pritchard was the only white guy on the court, and he's like 5'10". No, that's someone else. I think Peyton Pritchard's still short, but he's not super short. She did the post back and got her GPA up. I love that. Thank you, CES. And that's one of the main ways that I would like to increase DEI, is it's going to take them longer. You know, if there's systemic oppression, you're not going to fix it by fall semester, you know? Peyton Pritchard 6'1", thank you. Yeah, and it's just, he's the only white guy on the court during the NBA finals. It was just so funny because, I don't know, I hope this doesn't sound insensitive, but the other players were like particularly dark complexion. They weren't just black. So like when you see the play happening, it's just like, there's one very white guy and then the other black players are quite black, you know? What are you talking about? I'm evaluating, let me pull this up. This is the context, Micah. I don't want to read that out loud. I'm going to use the bathroom actually real quick. It'll be about 30 seconds, okay? Actually, my mic is on. So are there things I want to talk about? Yeah. So, okay, so I only read the first line, black people are better at basketball. I would say if just observing the NBA, that seems to be true. You know, people like to, I think the cultural explanations for why there's a lot of black representation in the NBA are more insulting than to just think that there are a lot more athletic black people, you know? Now, obviously, we're about to see the exact reason that that's a problem, which is I think the person who was banned from Discord, my Discord today, is about to say they're good at basketball, they're bad at whatever they're going to be bad at, right? And it's like, oh, but that's not a bad thing. Like, that's not a crazy thing to say. This is why we can't have honest talks about like differences between ethnic groups. You know, like I would like to have those one day. I think they exist. You know, I'll say that right now. I'll own up to that fact. Like in a completely post-racial world where like society has healed, are we going to see exactly proportional representation? I don't think so. I think, you know, gender differences are going to persist, and then some ethnic differences will persist. But I don't think that they're necessarily going to be what like bigoted people expect them to be, right? Like we really are not ready to like evaluate that, like not by any means. You know, not when segregation ended like what, 70 years ago, right?
and then not even ended everywhere. Like I think Alabama integrated in like the 70s. I'm citing Shane Gillis's joke, like where he talks about the school integrating. So that's not a scientific citation, but basically, there are people alive who are still, alive for segregation. They're dying. Time is passing. Okay. Peyton Pritchard was clutch in the finals, though. Yep. Okay, every sport. So I'm not gonna scroll up and catch up on chat. You better wash them hands. I did. Even though I sat down to pee, I washed my hands. I don't remember him saying black people are bad at XYZ, but I didn't memorize the conversation. We're about to get to it. I believe it's the feelings that is the best opportunity available to overcome systemic oppression through sports. So Charles Barkley said that. He said when he goes to black schools and asks kids what their dreams are, they say sports. And when he goes to white school, they say astronaut, right? So I believe that exists. But because the NBA pipeline goes through college, right? And college basketball has more white people, like the opportunities are there, right? And then there's like jokes that like have so much truth behind them, right? Like white guys finish all 4 years of college before they go to the NBA. And part of that might be because they're not as competitive. In 100 years, every sport will be a lot more evenly matched. I think so. I mean, we know that Jeremy Lin was like pretty oppressed, right? Like a big thing was Mike D'Antoni, the Rockets guy who's responsible for James Harden and like the heliocentric ball, said like by all metrics they should have taken Jeremy Lin, but they just didn't feel it. Yeah, black dominance in basketball is cultural more than anything. We'll see. Hopefully we're around to see. Okay. I mean, look at Jokic and Luka, yeah, but they're both slow. And then also like the saying that there are no white cornerbacks, and there is one now, and he's getting a lot of attention for it, is a harmful narrative. Yeah. Okay. All right, back to reading. So black people are better at basketball. Oh, let's see where this goes. Asian people are better at school. This is true right now. There are a lot of things that are true right now if you just observe the world as is. This is the whole reason why like Asians are overrepresented in these like colleges, right? Talking about Coop, I think so. I just looked them up. I like learned what a cornerback is, and it's the guy who defends the wide receiver, which is a crazy job, So it's like a guy who's a millionaire getting paid millions to take off and lose you, and you have to keep up with him, right? So cornerback seems like a crazy job. Okay, it's not bad to notice the difference between races. I will say yes, it's not inherently bad to notice the difference between races as they are today. That's the key difference. And again, we're not ready for this conversation. Again, like if I were to post this TikTok bringing up these talking points, people would be outraged. And I don't think they should be. That being said, the reason we're so sensitive to these discussions is because of where I think Mitch is about to go. But we shouldn't be that way, But like I understand, like society's just not ready for this conversation. It's going to devolve into something bad. I'll take a quick look. I am kind of edging the chat, I'll admit. Like we're taking this slow. I'd like to see what people say. I heard Asians are really good at precision sports like ping pong and darts. Yeah. And then there's a 4-hour line-by-line autopsy. Yeah. I was kind of hoping that he would show race realism is okay. Yes. I think it's okay. I understand that we can't do it because that information would be weaponized. I don't think philosophically we should react to bad actors weaponizing information, right? We should just pursue truth. Okay. Unc, what are you talking about tonight? Oh, Yanks, what's up? You're the one that, so this is the context. I'm going to talk about other stuff while you read the context here. It'll be a black guy, girl. Yeah, thank you for the follow, Alex. The point is the country you're raised in matters. Yeah, of course. Yeah, as long as it's coming from a genuine place, like we should be studying these outcomes and like trying to figure out why that is. To do those specific activities, it's not based on race. We don't know that. And we also don't know that it is because of race. We haven't really looked at it. You can make an argument blank slatism is actually negative medically for minorities. Okay, so I've heard that talking point. I know where it goes. I think the argument is valid, but it's almost always weaponized against people, Okay, everything else is, you can make an argument for blank slatism. Okay, all right, back to this. White people are better at like chess or something, IDK. Okay, so it's like he has this belief, right? So this is what I was worried about. Is like I'm casting Mitch into an archetype, right? Because I have enough experience that I think I can fit most people into an archetype and it'll be about 90% correct. So what I'm seeing here is that he thinks this is the truth because people are running from the truth. And I'm going to write that down because it's kind of a bar. Uh, okay, so I'll discuss that on a separate TikTok. Oh, that's a take of all time for sure. um, I think you may be very naive. I'm gonna ignore chat for a second. We hit the line with an electric shock when he gets distracted. That's why I haven't made you a freaking mod, Spiral. um, why is 75% of the NBA black? I thought it'd be higher than 75%. Could it be their genetics help them perform better? So there's a whole separate thing. I've heard a different YouTuber. I talked about this in a different live. There's just more genetic diversity from Africa. So you have more fast twitch black people and more slow twitch black people. Because if it was just one, like black people are one thing, then it wouldn't make sense for them to be, for them people, sorry, you know, I'm just gonna speak. It wouldn't make sense for like, Eliud Kipchoge is black and he's the best endurance athlete in the world, or he was, I think he's not the top dog anymore. It wouldn't make sense for for black people to dominate marathons and also the NBA, which is very explosive, and also being cornerbacks in the NFL, right? But it's just there's way more different types of black people than there are a lot of other ethnicities because, you know, we come from Africa. I've heard that theory. It sounds good. I don't want to look it up, you know? God, so fair. I don't know what the context is. The best NBA player is white. Yes, he is right now. Let's take another digression. I'm not looking forward to this coming era where Luka and Jokic are two of the smartest and best basketball players. Because I've literally had this happen. I've literally had this conversation where our friend, one of my closest friends from Irvine, she said, like, are they more athletic or are they perceived that way? And I was like, that's such a cliche. You're such an NPC talking point. And thankfully, right now, the three smartest players of like recent times, or at least three of the smartest players that you would name, are LeBron James, black, Chris Paul, black, and Rajon Rondo, black. And then just by happenstance, now Luka and Jokic are both very smart players. I think Luka is a little bit overrated on his intelligence, but Jokic, his passes are insane. You know, and he sees the plays. He's like LeBron. He's like Chris Paul. Luka just kind of plays like James Harden in a different style. But anyways, losing the three smartest players and they're black, that will make it, you know, the people will come out of the woodwork. Like, oh yeah, so black players are athletic, huh? And white players are smart. It's like, no, the three smartest players of the 2000s and 2010s were black, you know? Okay. Even if it's cliche, we need to challenge our preconceived notions. Yes, but basketball fans, I mean, some are racist. The players will complain about that. Like they say, you're getting distracted in real time. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to stop looking and I'm going to look down, looking at the Discord. I think the things about Asians being better at school are more caused by societal differences. Yeah. A big one is like Japan and Korea were already kind of set up to value education a lot. Like our government was really rigid. I heard this like years ago. You know, someone can fact check me, but I never went digging. Like the K system, there's not a lot of social mobility. Like everything runs through school and you work for a big company. Like culturally, we are set up very well. But then Koreans are very entrepreneurial as well when they come to the United States. Because in Korea, if you don't make it to a good school, you better be entrepreneurial. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck where you are. He's seriously trying to deep dive every line in this channel. Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot. The feeling of dread. Spyro, you got something bad? At least your names are truncated. Bing bong, not today. But you can ask me like some other time. I'll talk about software engineering. I'm not the guy to ask. There's better people. Clue Codes. He follows me. He's a fan of the line. That was really cool. I saw one of his videos. It was really good. I love when I see a video on my FYP and then I go check out the profile and the person's following me. Okay. All right. The most take of all time. They both were stinky. All right. It was more an example, right? So this is kind of the pattern that I see when people who are like blind contrarians, where it's just like things are true because other people are scared to say it. That means it must be the truth. I see this happen where it's like they never really dig their heels in any one place. They just want to present the idea and then not be called a racist. You know, like they get off on presenting these like controversial ideas, but it's like, well, that's not really what we're doing here, right? Like Spiral or S dot 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 Anonymous, like pretty clearly laid out the difference between DEI and forced diversity, right? At least the proposed, like in theory, how it's supposed to work, right? And then if you want to say that it's working wrong, then you better prove that. Well, in the interest of fairness, certain cultures have particular values that can precondition their members to do better in certain areas. Yep, that's basically what we just talked about. I won't deep dive into every line. Why does the source from the company say different? So yeah, anecdotal evidence in this kind of context is not completely off the table. That being said, it is weak. What's up, Joel? Welcome back. Okay, Spiral's happy with how he acted. Kanito, thank you for the heart me. Thank you for the I'm ready. Thank you for the roses. Okay. Oh, please don't censor me. I stand by my words. All right. So for the record, everybody, Spiral Vermin, he's been engaging with my stuff since like early on. I trust his opinion. He is S dot dot dot. This guy right here. Okay. Anecdotal evidence from an online from one person. Yeah, it's beyond anonymous. Okay, it's nurture though, not nature. I'm gonna say not completely. We don't know that, you know. But if you want to argue something, you better have more than maybe not. But it's still a fact. Okay, what does that mean? It's nurture though, not nature. Oh, but it's still a fact. There are differences today that you can observe in outcomes. I would be okay with that, but where does it go? What source from what company? Yeah, I just like to separate correlation from causation. Yeah, that's ultimately it. Like correlation and causation. I think we should be able to recognize the correlation. There's a lot of black representation in the NBA. There's a lot of Asian representation at top schools, right? If you want to fix that, you better be able to talk about it, right? But nobody in my Discord is like freaking out at the idea that that's like an observation you can make about present day. Also, many sources can say vastly different things. Yeah, that's why I don't like to argue with facts. And I know that sounds like a crazy thing to say. I like to argue like philosophy and perspective, because if you really want to do like a debate club, you have to study so much facts. You know, it's the only way to do it. But I like to think like, okay, suppose this is true, how should we feel? And suppose this is true, how should we feel? What do we estimate reality to be? That's kind of how I take debates with my friends. Okay, I see people are talking to each other. Yeah, Spiral likes facts. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Only so far as we recognize it's vocational, not total. I don't know what that really means. Of the people I know, some are great in math and some aren't. Okay. I also don't love that statement. This guy's just reminding him that like these general trends noticed by a single observer who's anonymous is not fact, right? It's not something we can suppose as fact. That being said, this is kind of a trope too, right? Like, you know, most oranges are orange. It's like I saw one that was brown. You know, the ones that are great happen to have parents who drill math skills. It's not necessarily due to their race. I think we might find differences in aptitude, but again, we can't evaluate that until societal differences have been under control. A worker at ILM. Okay, a worker at ILM. Come on, you've got to recognize like the irony there. Okay, so far I'm seeing this. I would not call this a bannable offense unless he was constantly bringing this up. And I didn't really give him the chance to do that. I'm waiting till he at some point calls somebody fucking stupid. And then I just saw that message while I was like quickly scrolling. And I was like, all right, he's out. But I want to see if other people egged him on. Ziena, yes, there is, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm trying to stay relatively focused. I'm commentating more on the conversation. I'm not going to dive off and then have like the full evaluation. Some random person making a claim isn't proof. Yeah, it's not proof. It's enough to start a conversation, but it's not proof. What is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Yeah, the person could just be racist. Yep. Okay, all of you are just giving reasons why it is that way. Like, I don't need a reason why it's just that way because it is. Yeah, but what are you saying? You know? I take someone's opinion over your biased opinions because clearly you're left-leaning. And there we go. So Mitch has a team that he's picked. I don't fault people for being conservative. I do think it's pretty tough to still support Trump at this point. But if you're conservative and you whataboutism, right? Because there's only two choices. I don't write someone off for being conservative. Since one was noticing a pattern racist, hey, who called you racist, bro? That person could just be racist. Okay. So he's defending the Reddit person who works at ILM. Okay. If we're going to use opinions, I think it's more useful to use company-wide statistics about many people's opinions because people can think differently. Yeah, the problem with that is it's not anonymized. So like, I don't trust anonymous surveys at my work. You'd be dumb to trust anonymous surveys at your work. Okay, I'm going to do a quick catch up on chat. Okay, so Kanito Burrito is having a conversation with other people in the chat. Feel free to keep doing that. Cool. I may have egged a smidge. Okay, Maya, we'll see. And do you know that person's political leaning? You're making an opinion off of ignorance. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Yeah. Nice, Spiral. Way to turn that right back around. That's very apt. Like, that person could have an agenda, right? Mitch is worried that Charisma's or R has an agenda, but obviously Mitch seems to have an agenda because he considers left-leaning to be an insult. You know? I didn't say noticing a pattern was racist. Don't put words in my mouth. I said that he could be racist. Yeah, but were you the one that said, oh yeah, he could be racist? Yeah. I think it's fair for him to argue your supposition if we're going to be really nitpicky. Like if these were letters and not a Discord message, it's like, yeah, you said he could be racist. So and you would have no idea. Yeah. Okay, you defined the scope pretty clearly here. Yeah. I'm making an opinion off someone else's experience and you're clearly biased. Yeah, but again, like Spiral just said, that person could be biased, and it seems that Mitch is pretty biased. Some individuals are better at some things than other individuals. Race has very little to do with it. Okay, so you guys are just talking at this point, but I would not accept this as fact. You know, again, we can't evaluate it yet, but I would not accept that as fact. As for your NBA example, 70 to 71%, by the way. Ain't no way. What if you just count the starters? Then what happens? That might have something to do with because I could tell you during the NBA Finals, whenever it was the Heat versus the Celtics, was it ever that? Was that a conference final? It might have been a conference final. Oh yeah, because Heat versus Celtics would never be the finals. Those are both Eastern Conference teams. But I could tell you, like, the 7-man rotation on both teams was pretty much all black except for Peyton Pritchard. So at least going by that, we're talking like 87%. What's 12 out of 13? Yeah, 8. So 7.5%, so 82.5% about. That might have something to do with the availability of different sports to low income. Yeah, I think that's fair. Basketball is cheap to get good at. Yes and no. That's a very pedantic argument, but there's a lot of NBA players right now. The idea of like a black player making it out of the hood with basketball is really gone. And like a lot of current NBA players are talking about this. Like, in order to make it into like the NBA pipeline, you have to pay for AAU. So a lot of NBA players and like who become coaches are complaining about this. Like, you have to pay so much money to become good enough, not to become good enough, but to show that you're good enough. And then it's like, and then anybody who makes it to a D1 or D2 college, D2 colleges give scholarships. So if we were able to like reach these people, if I could reach these people and have them trust me, I'd say like, hey, get your scholarship with basketball and then study the thing you're going to study, bro. You're going to be AAU trainers, coaches, state D1 if you want to be in the NBA. Yeah, that's what I said, right? Yeah, Hoop Dreams is dead. Yeah, Hoop Dreams is dead. The bell curve is polarized. So Adam, I don't know if you were here earlier. That is a theory that I've heard. It's just that like amongst like the people who are African descent, you know, who look black, you're just going to have more diversification. I've always just kind of accepted that theory. It's not like I'm digging into this all the time. It's just that black people dominate in 2 different areas of sports, right? And it's because there's 2 different types of black people, right? So it's like in like the race-specific discussions, like I would like to talk to someone who's pretty close-minded and just present that conundrum. Like, how is it if black people are so good at basketball only, or like specifically good for basketball, that they're also dominating marathons, which is an endurance sport? And it's because there's more different kinds of black people because we originate from Africa. There's been more time for diversification there. Thank you for the heart me, I'm ready, and the 8 roses, Kanito. I think I thanked you for that already. Okay. I think the overarching point applies. No, I forgot what the overarching point is. When's the last time you saw a lacrosse field? Yeah. Yeah, but just understand, like Steph Curry's the son of an NBA player. Kobe Bryant's the son of an NBA player. He lived in Italy until he moved back to the States, I think specifically to support his hoop dreams. LeBron, he's actually from the hood, or not from the hood. I don't know if he's from the hood or not, but he's from a very poor area. His mom had to give him up. His coach had to foster him at some point because his mom was unfit to take care of him. So she's had a life, he's had a life. But that doesn't happen as much anymore. Oh, hey, what's up, Mitch? Yeah, so we're evaluating this. Sorry, guys, let me check some notifications real quick. Okay. Let me silence notifications on my phone for now. Okay. Because I have my phone just previewing. Okay. He's him. Yeah, guys, don't dogpile. So Mitch is here. He got kicked for this convo. Yes. I'm evaluating whether this was fair. So here's the context for you, Mitch. I'm not mad at you. I might be mad at you by the end of this, but I saw the phrase, "I think you're fucking stupid," and I just hit the ban button. Okay. You're good, Mitch. Yeah. So guys, don't pile here. I did check to see that your profile is like pretty anonymized. It was fine before everyone started dogpiling. So Mitch, that's what I'm here to evaluate. So at some point you said, "I think you're fucking stupid," right? What I'm very sensitive to is when people are passive aggressive, and then when someone responds with just open, honest aggression, everybody like clutches their pearls and freaks out, right? So, yeah. Also, line your placement of the context isn't far over enough. It's halfway cut. Oh, thank you. We'll go right here. How's that? Okay, so when I need to pop open the context, I'll do this. And let's hide this part. Okay. All right. On screen, I didn't even think it was that hot of a take, TBH. So, yeah, so Mitch, I'm just going to keep evaluating this. You can defend yourself, but do it with some concision. I don't want to hear you try to like rephrase everything in like new terms, okay? So I am the judge and executioner here. Let me say this right off the bat. I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm like chastising you, okay? This is my private Discord. If I kick you because I think you're harshing the vibe, that doesn't mean that you have to think that I'm right. You can leave and just say like, okay, like the lion just wants like a soft Discord, you know? I'm not a pushover. I'll tell it how it actually is. Yeah, that can be kind of a trope, like a cliche. It's the kind of person that I fancied myself at 17 that I kind of changed later. So anyways, Mitch, so I'm going to continue to judge you, but I'm only judging you because it's my Discord. Okay? If you disagree, be your own person. But also if you think that I have good takes, then, take my advice to heart or take my evaluations and, look at yourself. Okay? So I'm not going to take any offense. Okay, that's cool. I think he's a minor. He's not, I'm not going to say his age. He is young. He is young. Okay, cool, Mitch. As long as you're cool with it. So I'm not trying to put you on blast at all. You have an anonymous profile picture. You're anonymous here. Okay. So you're saying black people are poor and basketball is for black people because they're poor. That's a bit reductive. It's like an aggro way to like, it's not a straw man because that is basically what people are saying, The availability of different sports to low-income inner-city kids. Yeah, so Spiral is basically saying black people are poor and basketball is for black people because they're poor. That's fair. What did you just say about putting words in mouths? No, this is fair. This is just a harsh way to do it. And you don't have to like someone who does this. Oh, this is a different S. Sorry, this is Spiral Vermin. Okay, the only thing that makes them good at something is the conditions they are raised in. That is way reductive. I disagree, but the color has no effect on how a person thinks or acts on a genetic level. We don't know, and we aren't equipped to find out right now. Like, we just can't handle that information. But for the record, the tabula rasa is a little bit too idealistic. I don't know if it's true. I can argue with 3 people and Spiral. Yeah, I will say, like, if you're in the middle of this kind of thing is a little bit too sweeping. And I would say this would also require proof, but you're the one who started with the take. So what did you just say? I didn't say anything about that. My point stands. Okay. So explain why the NBA is 70% and 13% of the population. Oh, let's check something real quick. Because the most popular cliche that was repeated is 13%, and then I think it was 50% was the accusation, or 80% of crime. But black population in USA today, that it's not been 13% for some time. About 11% of the population. So if someone's citing 13%, it's because they often heard the phrase 13% of the population commit X% of the crime. Mitch, you're on the Hot Take Discord channel. That is the norm. Yeah. Just log off for 10 if you get overwhelmed. I wasn't until Maya started insults. So let's see what happens. Okay. So, but 13% means you're basing population data off of a like a 4chan originated talking point. Spiral, this is very cogent. Because if Mitch is using a Redditor who said something, you would, you can do this. While also dismissing alternate opinions for being biased. Yes, Mitch, I don't know if you recognize that. This flaw itself is not a problem, but your guy from Reddit isn't biased, but everybody else who's citing other opinions are all biased. Like, you see the double standard there. I mean, speaking purely statistically, many low-income communities consist of a relatively majority of black people, and I speak as someone who's lived in and around low-income. Yeah. That's your argument, you prove it. Yep. So this isn't spiral. But yeah, it's like, you are the one on the hot seat here. You started this, right? And people actually, to this point, are not really calling you racist. They said the guy that you're citing could be a racist. What is the point of all this? There is no point. Lion, this isn't running. Yeah, it's not. 1350. It's 1350 or 1380? 1350? Yeah, so when someone says 13%, it's kind of like, oh, that's a thing. Yeah, so what's the point of this? If you don't like this, just leave. There's no point. I'm just evaluating a ban that I made on Discord today. 13% is a dog whistle. Yeah. Lion, your mic's muted. Oh. Is someone trolling me? Is my mic muted, guys? It is not. Okay. That's such a good one. I'm playing. Yeah. They're genetically imposed to have lower IQ. Eddie, don't be saying that stuff. Thank you, guys. Not muted. Okay. All right. The inevitable voice message. Do I listen to the voice message? Maya, you still here? All I did was ask him to tone it down. We will get there, Maya. Cheap viewers. Oh, I got a bot on one of my platforms. Okay. Joel, thank you, Tiffany. Okay, I guess there's more of a delay in some places. All right. Yeah, so any of the mods, if Eddie keeps on repeating those talking points, you can get them out. 2010, it's just gotten down to 11% with immigration. Yeah, CES. So 13% isn't inaccurate, and it's okay that people say that. But if that's the number that comes to mind, that means where they're getting their information from is the talking point of 13% and 50. The voice messages are very important for context. I didn't even listen to voice messages. Okay. I don't mind. Okay, so we can play the voice messages, and then during that time, I'll scarf down some food. Okay. So we can listen to the voice messages. I listen to the recordings of the live back, and when I play things on my computer, it comes out really loud for you guys. Vince thought you were asking chat. Oh, Joel, okay, thank you. I understand. I was asking a specific person in the chat. I was driving back from McDonald's, and that I was driving home. Okay. Wow, a lot of people were driving home at this point. Okay, because black people are genetically superior in height and athletics. Okay. It also comes with a lot of cultural insecurities when you don't thrive in the parameters set by your culture, which can be ethnic. I agree. I'm just adding to what you said. Oh, Adhilde entered the chat. Okay. Or not statistically, I try not to let it influence my opinion. Tresmas, that's fine. Okay, so now people are piling on Mitch, but they're very much sticking to your point. Nobody has yet accused you of being racist. They're accusing your source of being racist, possibly being racist, and they're saying that you're not seeing bias in any of your sources, but everybody else who's disagreeing, you're calling biased. And to this point, Mitch, you have gotten personal, although not toxically so, but you have gotten personal. You're probably left-leaning, right? You said that to someone, while at this point nobody has characterized you yet. Do you see that that's what happened? I don't disagree with Othilde or Spiral. Okay, so it seems like your real problem where it escalated is Mia. I put a couple no offenses in there. Yeah, you did put. I think you're fucking stupid. No offense. That's not good enough, bro. And again, let's review my criteria here while I scarf down. It doesn't have to be fair. It just has to be justified. If you stay and behave like that, even if it's defensible, is it going to make people not want to talk? Because my point is not to run the U.S. government system with innocent until proven guilty, right? I just want my Discord to be cool. All right, guys. Let's listen to the voice message. It gets worse if you scroll down one page. All right, Eddie. I'm not going to ban you because you're citing very specific things, but I would prefer you drop that subject. I don't want my lives to have this kind of vibe unless I'm discussing it and moderating it. I will say that I do think Mitch was provoked. Wow, okay. All right, guys, I'm going to play 10 seconds of this. I will drop it, no disrespect. Okay, thank you, Eddie. I'm going to play 5 seconds of this. Tell me if the volume is too loud. Okay, guys?
Kittens, let's not upset Daddy. Let's not make Daddy angry.
Okay. It's a tad loud. Okay, I'm going to try to adjust it. Let me see. TikTok Live Studio. How can I adjust it? Touch loud. Let's see. Let me find the audio settings and turn it a touch down. It's not too bad, just a bit lower. Bearable. Unc, please approve my pull request. Okay, let's see. Live quality. How do I get audio controls? If I can't figure it out in 2 minutes, I will stop trying. Oh, got it. Primary speaker, MacBook Pro. Okay. Media and sound effects. All right, I turned it down to about half. Okay. All right, I'm going to do another test. And if it's good, if it's still bad, I'll do one more round and then I'll just move on. I know people don't like how much I get distracted. All right, Maya, we're going to watch this multiple times. Here we go. Okay.
Kittens, let's not upset Daddy. Let's not make Daddy angry.
How's that volume compared to like this? Is it annoying that you have to constantly adjust your volume? Very good. Okay.
Kittens, let's not upset Daddy. Let's not make Daddy angry. Let's try to keep it a little PG in the hot takes chat, my guys. I know I'm not like a Discord mod daddy or anything, but I got some pretty concerning notifications whilst driving home, and I was like, what the Sigma? So yeah, if we could just tone down the race context shit, that's kind of I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. I don't have all the context, but I got some alarming notifications, and I was like, yo, so maybe let's just take a step back, chill out, have a crack open a cold one. I don't know, guys. Just I don't know. Like I saw something that made me go whoa, and I just wanted to say whoa. Let's take it down a notch here. We're here to have debates, not say fucked up shit. You know, yikes.
Maybe I'll make an 18 up channel. Who's Keon? If Eddie says he's going to drop it, you also have to drop it. Okay. This is where I have a lot of thoughts too. She doesn't have the context, but tries to moderate. Yeah, that's a fair complaint. Respectfully, very hard listened. I thought it was funny. You got to understand, Maya's been here for a while, so I do think it was funny. But that being said, at this point, things haven't crossed a line. Mitch is doing some things that do annoy me. Like I do want him to be a little bit different, but to this point, I wouldn't consider it a bannable offense. I might make a hot takes adult channel because maybe I'll just ban discussions that go too deep into race. He's a rage baiter who doesn't know his source. Hey guys, Eddie said he would drop it. So whether he's a rage baiter or not, I asked him to drop it and he dropped it. So let's also drop it. Yeah. Okay. Maybe a Mitch channel. Okay. So Maya, I did ask Maya to basically mod. And so I understand why she would take this upon herself, especially if she's just seeing discussions about race, like some of these chats, like because black people are genetically superior in height and athletics. I don't even know if I want that in my Discord. That being said, is that rule something I should have set? I think yes. Like if Mitch didn't know because I didn't even say it, I am leaning towards a possible revoke. But somehow we get from here to I think you're fucking stupid. So Mitch, the appropriate reaction here, like when people are being passive aggressive, and I don't really think this is passive aggressive. I think Maya just I think Maya has seen a lot of like Discord communities before, and is like ironically talking like the ooh woo or like the what is it, like the weeb type character. And I think she's doing that to cut the tension while telling you to stop talking about race. And I will say, though I don't think this should have been done, I did give her a ask to do this type of role. So that's why it didn't come out of nowhere. A race ban is fine though. Yeah, I think that might make things easier. Randall, so the Discord link didn't expire. There's some weird thing with clicking. If you go here on your, if you go here on like a browser app like Safari or Chrome, it should work, but it's weird when you click it out of the TikTok browser. This started with media takes after all. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, separating hot takes into casual stuff and serious stuff. I thought she was just trying to play moral Olympics. So Mitch, from your perspective, I totally understand that, right? Like no race, calm it down on the race discussion. And it's like, you got to understand, now knowing the context, I asked Maya and one other person to just let me know, because I can no longer read every chat, you know, especially when I'm like out and about, right? I would have also gotten defensive if I heard that voice note, TBH. Thank you, Spiral. Exactly what I was doing. Wow, yeah, so, yeah, I understand the character. I mean, I'm funny I thought it was funny right away. I think I'm elite at understanding bits. Okay, I would have also gotten defensive if I heard that voice note. Yeah, I'm feeling that, because he doesn't know that Maya's a mod. I haven't given her any official status, right? Okay, but here's the thing. Sorry, I've been talking in a bit circles. I don't think it was very funny, even though it's a joke. Yeah, I think it's a little bit condescending, because Maya didn't get the full context. So she's trying to like moderate, because I've asked her to, and feeling like she has to do this because it's her responsibility. I will say I'm going to deputize more people so that everyone can have the full context when they do this. I think the first one is like, hey, can we cool it down on the race talk? And then, like I've seen Maya, she's a pretty regular person, right? She's posted pictures, talked about like jobs and like from the life. She set the tone a lot in this Discord. So I'm pretty happy with that. But that being said, if you didn't know any of that, and this is just the first message that comes from someone who wasn't participating in this conversation, I'd understand why you'd deputize Spiral. Yeah, so the only reason I haven't deputized Spiral yet is because he was very involved in this. So I wanted to see if he was fair. So, okay, no offense, but I'm not wasting 40 seconds of my life off this. There's an easier way to say that. Mitch, you are the one taking half steps up to this point. I will say up to this point, Mitch, you are the one taking half steps up each time. Saying that like, you're clearly left-leaning. I don't like that, okay? Yeah, it's a fun tone, deadass just being me, yeah. But if you don't know that, and to this point you hadn't participated in the conversations, I don't know if you sent that before I made those clarifications. It's like, yeah, imagine you're Mitch, you know you're saying something pretty controversial, people are discussing it with you. Mitch made the mistake of starting to accuse everyone else of bias. I don't like that. That means you're cracking. You're no longer in calm discussion. Even though you haven't crossed any lines yet, you are the one cracking. If the other people, like Spiral, lose their cool even a little bit, it's going to escalate and hit a shit show. Okay? How the hell did I become on trial? You're not on trial for anything, although you are being interviewed for a mod, you know? And I'm not trying to sound obnoxious, right? You don't have to give a damn. But, okay. You didn't answer my question. So, okay, sorry. So my thoughts at this point is Maya's not understanding that since she didn't participate in this discussion, this seems like pretty targeted at Mitch. Mitch does not know that I specifically asked Maya to moderate. And then Maya, I would say it's like you are not Batman where it's like you need to drop on a dime. So you were driving, you see these notifications, you thought you had to do something about it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to make sure that the team is big enough that nobody feels like they have to make a snap call. Okay. Okay. So that's where I'm at. Permission to approach the bench, Your Honor. Wonston, are you saying like you have like a analysis you want to give? Yeah, Ziana, I think that's fair, but that's not what's necessarily on trial here. I don't think Mitch had great arguments either. He's citing a Reddit comment, but then if anyone else questions the validity of that Reddit comment, they're biased, right? So I don't. That's the main thing that I have an issue with. Now we're memeing. I don't want anything. Just want to say that. Okay. But it's a Discord, so it doesn't have to be super sound. Yeah, it's okay if some crazy stuff sits there for a little bit. I'm okay with that. You didn't answer my question. So anyways, that's where I'm standing right now. Let's keep going. You didn't answer my question. If mine made an Alton commented, I'm at work and that guy is lying, would you change your entire opinion? Yeah, so Mitch, this is more about the argument. So I'm trying not to dive into the actual argument, but I would say this is pretty much a very cogent, targeted, and effective rebuttal to your argument. Because a lot of what you're saying is based, so your two main points so far have been this guy at Reddit who works at ILM, right, said this. And then so it's like that, like you are behaving as though that passes like a very high burden of proof, but then when other people question it, you give them like way high burdens of proof. You know what I mean? It's like a double standard there. And then also the NBA is mostly black. Yeah, that's true. But people are saying there's other factors. I tend to disagree, but that's not really the point. But no one to this point has called you racist, right? But from reading in between the lines of this tone, no offense, but I'm not wasting my life, you are feeling piled on. At this point, I wasn't paying enough attention to give an actual response. Okay. What's ILM? I don't know. Can you check out and tag me in? No, I can't like divert and do that. Not right now. Okay. I will, Teehee. Source, trust me, bro. Yeah. All right, Maya, we're doing another one.
Sorry, kitten. Daddy's driving home, so daddy can't text right now. But what I said was, chill out with the race stuff. What the fuck?
Okay. That's my argument. Prove how it's not that way. So you can't start the hot take discussion and then say prove how it's not that way unless you plant a flag somewhere. So what have you planted? I forgot. Oh, black people are taller. You prove it. Yeah. It's okay to say something, prove it, and then ask someone to prove otherwise. But if you just say black people are taller, it's like, dude, just link a Wikipedia page. I'm sure black people are taller. Surprisingly, Latino people are the shortest, not Asians. I think because a lot of immigrants who grew up with like a less optimal like economic environment, they grow up short. Basically, a lot of Latino immigrants are shorter than their USA like born and raised counterparts. So the stats are there. I remember just seeing it and being surprised. All right, let me catch up on chat. Yeah, I would say driving and modding will not do that anymore. Okay. I do think Maya needed to flash a badge before acting as an authority. I agree. Okay. Let's keep going. So how do we get from here to I think you're fucking stupid? Chill out with the race shit. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, it would have been ideal if she flashed a badge. I'm not racist. Again, Mitch, you're being defensive here. She said chill out with the race shit. Is this a Discord mod stream? What is this? Oh, thanks for the follow. I have a Discord for people who like my stuff to talk. And it's 4 lines down. You're about to say some shit about we'll get there in 30 minutes. What was it? I started a Discord. I originally made it so that I could push like a book club, which I have here, right? About like Hamilton and stuff. Oh, hey, so I just realized that what Adam's saying, like he tagged me in an image. Does Mitch know that Maya is a mod at this point? No. Let's make that important note. Maya acts as a mod without being in the prior conversation. Lion has not informed anyone of that responsibility. That is very important context. Your Honor, I'm innocent. I don't know that you're innocent. We'll see. Move TikTok screen a bit to the right, please. Are you talking about the Oh yeah, okay, thank you, Spiral. This is good, right? Let's move it a little bit more so you can see the profile pictures. All right, that's looking good. Okay, oh, you're doing arbitrary and variant, and look at that, that is funny. Yeah, I think this is good content, honestly. And the guy who's banned is here. Maya didn't even know that Maya was a mod, TBH. Maya was just trying to damage control. Okay, well, if you were doing that and you weren't doing this because you felt like I had burdened you with this, then I would say you should report this more to me. But as like a soft mod, like, because I haven't figured out how to make a mod on Discord yet and how to control the permissions. As a soft mod, I would understand why you feel that responsibility. But if you're just doing this because you don't like this discussion, I will say that that is overreach as an individual, especially because people are still engaging. But Mitch is like a step up from everybody else, right? He's talking about his character and other people's characters. You're left leaning. I'm not racist, right? While everybody else has kept it very much to the facts. I gotta make a TikTok on this explaining. Like, when I'm having a hot debate with people, sometimes I will go personal, right, with my friends. Like, because you're fucking stupid. You think AI is going to take over everything. I tell that to one of my closest friends a lot. He's very bullish on AI. I don't know that he's wrong, but like, yeah, you keep saying it's going to take over next Tuesday. Like, we love to tell that to him. But there's a very clear line. And it's when you blur the line that it starts to get ugly. You're supposed to block and go to sleep. Ziana, I love the trial vibe. This feels like a mock trial. Yeah. Dude, your dopamine is so healthy. Me? Oh yeah, so Adam tagged me in a picture. Can somebody, Spiral or Maya or really anybody who like I recognize you by name, could you go to the bottom of hot takes and just make sure that it's not like a dong that's gonna get me banned from stream? What is this debate? So Calvin, what I'm doing is evaluating a ban I made on Discord today. It's the first one I've ever made. The guy who's banned is here. And then, what was it? And the discussion was around race. Not a dong, but not pressing to see, not pleasing to see. Just let me know whether I should or should not see it. Okay, I'm not racist. Is it gonna get me in trouble? Basically, it's good. Yeah. Oh yeah, Maya did message me before then, but then I get more concerning notifications. Okay, so I just realized I need to make it very clear because I understand the position I put Maya in. I told her I messaged her and one other person. I don't know, I got banned. Yeah. No, like it's not, but it's just a meme. Okay. What did Mitch say about black kids? So it's important for Mitch's sake that he's talking about that there are race differences and he has a problem with DEI. This is in the Hot Takes channel. Okay. Dude, it's a graph and a Wojak. Okay. If the ban is appealed, does Maya get banned? It's possible. Very unlikely though. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to keep going. Brother, you're the one making the claim. The burden of proof belongs to you. Yeah, so this is not Spiral. This is someone else. Don't care, plus didn't ask. Just chill it out. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay. So, again, you're speaking authoritatively here, Maya, and he doesn't know that you're a mod. So I would say that is an issue. Like this is bad. If you maintain this energy, I still don't think it deserves it. I think you're fucking stupid. Mitch needs to explicitly say, hey, I don't think you have the right to like do that in the Hot Takes channel. Just because you don't like the conversation and can't doesn't mean it's racist. Okay, so Mitch, I loved all of this, right? Just because you don't like the conversation doesn't mean you can tell me to stop. That is fair. But you keep coming back to racist. So I'm on the fence because like I said, the burden of proof is not whether it's fair. I would say just off of where I see this going, I would probably lean towards like, bringing you back in. But is it justified? Is your disposition going to make people not want to talk on my Discord, right? So, oh, here we go. Don't care. I think you're fucking stupid. No offense. No. You need to say like, according to me, because this is my Discord, the ideal response here, one, you don't get defensive about your racism. Like, dude, you're the one who keeps using that word. Other people have only called your source possibly racist. That's what's happened up to this point. What Maya said just now is what made me mad. You're right. That is passive aggressive. Like, hey, thanks, bye. When you're in a confrontation with someone, I do think that was aggressive. Maya saying I was just pissed because I was trying to drive home. Yes, you don't have to be handling this as an emergency. And I think I need to make that more clear. No offense was a nice touch though. Considering this is supposed to be high caliber convo, yeah, you can't just say that, Mitch. Yeah, I will say K Thanks Bye is about 20% of the way there. You took it 100% of the way there. I do think he turns it up every time he responds. Yes, and this is why I'm considering just keeping the ban. We say way more horrible stuff for jokes. In a confrontation with someone who wasn't even involved, it's like when Cartman was the police officer. I'm okay with you feeling that way, but you said I think you're fucking stupid. And the thing you need to understand that is very different from K Thanks Bye. This is even it's I would say it's more than 20% there. I'd say it's like 30%. Don't care, didn't ask, just chill it out. That is aggressive, especially when you don't know that she's an authority and she's not saying that to explain. So she's just telling you as another citizen of this Discord to stop talking about what you're talking about. I understand why you take offense to that. But I can't have this. And then the other thing is you're escalating at every point, and you're the one who keeps saying that you're not racist. It's a little bit weird. No one has even obliquely called you racist. I think this is an example of a poor power structure causing an issue. Yeah, of course you blame society, Spiral. No, I'm just kidding. I understand that. You know what? I could see Mitch's side, but he's out of line. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning. Yeah, everyone else is pretty civil. Yeah, 100%. He did use the correct "your" though. Yeah, of course you blame the systems. Of course you want more government. You know. I also don't think what Maya said was egregious. Annoying, sure, but very tame. Yeah, just make Spiral a mod. Yeah, Spiral's getting mod for sure. Can we ban him twice? No. I know I should have just ignored it, but I was like, yikes. Yeah, but K Thanks Bye. So you're doing like the Discord like ironic like mockery, but at the end of the day, you're still telling this guy to stop talking about what he's talking about. Your safety, that is also a safety issue. What's a safety issue? K Thanks Bye is dismissive. Calling someone stupid is aggressive. Yeah, 100%. But dismissive is also not nice. Where is my DEI? That's very funny. I don't even know you, dude. You're biased because you dislike me. Yeah, so Mitch, everyone else is biased except for you. And you're the one that keeps saying like, hey, just because I said this doesn't mean I'm racist. It's like, dude, you are expecting other people to converse a certain way. Yeah, Spiral will be an excellent mod. Yeah, Spiral will be an excellent mod. Oh, yeah, Tiffany. Yeah, driving and modding. Yeah, never drive and mod. All right, I think you're fucking stupid. No offense. Okay. On average, black children in the US tend to have a faster growth spurt and are taller than white children during certain childhood and adolescent years. Dude, why didn't you talk about adulthood? And why didn't you just drop the link? Okay, Maya, do we keep doing this or do you want to tap out of this? Because if you want to tap out, I think I've seen what I need to see. I'm going to keep listening to, keep reading what Mitch has said. Literally everyone is biased. Yeah. I was driving. It's hard to get all links. Yeah, but don't be doing this shit while you're driving. Actually, I mean, I kind of get it. But if it starts to get hot, say, I'm driving. Let me respond later. You know? Okay. And then you said you'll tap out. Okay, no more voice said. I'm aware that genetic factors can and do affect people's lives, but I'm studying to make my own claims about it. Are you defensive right now because you're concerned that the group thinks you're racist? Oddhilde, this is very insightful. It's like, can we get this out in the open and just say, hey, Mitch, stop defending yourself about an attack that no one's making. Was every motherfucker driving? I was also driving, Spiral. So 3 of us were driving at the same time across different time zones. Being called stupid is definitely a hot take. Yeah, it's a hot take channel. Period. No play. That one was funny. Okay, Maya. Okay.
Oi, oi, oi. I'm a baby. Oi.
That's pretty aggro. I would have preferred that you just said fuck you to Mitch. I understand. Let's watch this fall out. Exuzu, here's the context. And apparently everybody was driving in this conversation. That's true, but also she wasn't acting as a mod. This is such a complex situation, honestly, because Maya was acting as a mod, not disclosing it. And a mod shouldn't act this way towards someone that they're chastising when they're acting as a mod. But at the time, she also wasn't acting as a mod outwardly. She wasn't trying to pull rank. So how do we... Imagine you crashing your last words for wham wham, a baby. That's funny. Okay, so this is the context for whoever asked. Hopefully you read it by now. Okay. Is adding anything, is just calling me racist because she can't think of how I'm wrong. Maya didn't call you racist. Do you see this, Mitch? Do you see this? Every time someone criticizes you, you say, I'm not racist. You're calling me racist. No one has called you racist. She said, tone it down with the race stuff. Yeah, those are not great de-escalations. 100%. Feels like a mod should be more mature. Yeah, either she's acting as a mod and she needs to be more mature in how she approaches someone that is acting as a problem, or she wasn't acting as a mod and telling someone to stop a conversation that she didn't like. To be fair, to protect the vibe of the Discord. Thank you for the heart me, David Wu. And she joined in just being insufferable. Yeah, but Mitch, you're making it so that I have to choose because you keep on saying insufferable instead of saying like it's not fair. Like you're having trouble coexisting. Mitch, if I were you, I'd stop firing at Maya and communicate with the Lion. Yeah, I think I've kind of made my mind up here. Probably needs a separate litigation chart. Okay, and then reading Maya, right? I was like, what? When I saw that, yeah, when he said, yeah, you're fucking stupid. Yeah, so now Maya's in full. This is true. That last message, horrible de-escalation. But at this point, it's been escalated, right? Mitch said, I think you're fucking stupid. Now, Maya did escalate to that point, like 25%. That's not the same as 70%, where he has to come back with 100% or look bad or tattle. But I will say, yeah, Maya was not doing good in terms of either acting as a fellow citizen, making a request of another fellow citizen, or acting as a mod, telling someone to calm down. Maya's behavior wouldn't be as egregious if it was known she was a mod. Yes, but then I would want her to take like a very different tone. But the first message was clearly to cut tension. It's the second one that I was a little bit, I wish that had been different. The audio clips are an instigation of violence. That's funny, but I think you're joking. You've made a lot of like very reasonable messages so far. My escalation shouldn't be used as evidence since I was clearly egged on. Yes, but how egged can you get, Mitch? You said, I think you're fucking stupid. No offense. This is worse than January 6th. I'm not insufferable. I'm just a goofy ass. Yeah, I would say insufferable is a bit much, but you were being insensitive to Mitch. But Mitch is the one getting defensive. All right, hold on. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. And then we're going to go into litigation mode where people give their opinions, okay? Also think Mitch was taking half steps and Maya was the only one that matched that energy. Mitch was constantly taking, here's what I'll say. I generally agree. Mitch was constantly taking half steps and Maya took a quarter step. I wouldn't even say Maya matched. Remember the golden rule, friends? Nah, Mitch, you were defensive prior to Maya's provocation. 100%. I'd agree with that. I was definitely being an ass, and I can admit that. If I'd been approaching this with mod powers, I would have been a touch more pragmatic. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's get to the end, and then I'm going to pose the question. Obviously, you guys know what the question is, but like, I'm going to set like, what are the Maya loves matching energy. I'm going to pose the burden of proof. Right now, I would say I'm leaning against bringing back Mitch. Yeah, Spiral. The real winner here, you're like Team Mongolia. Can we do the poll at the conclusion? Yes, I reserve the right to veto. All right, well, if the hot take is immediately going to devolve into personal insults, right? You're fucking stupid, you're left-leaning, you're biased, and weird racial undertones, then we just can't have this conversation. Goddamn, Spiral, I'm so glad you found my stuff early and like engaging. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, bro. I am not calling you racist. This is true. I am driving home. He doesn't know that. Everybody's fucking driving. Mitch is also driving. Stop doing that, guys. If the thing gets serious, then say like, hey, give me a sec. It's not that hard. I've texted that message twice today. Why should I even try if nothing ever happened? Nah, Mitch, you're defensive. Okay, no poll. Can we do a poll? Mitch says no poll. Spiral the goat. Yeah, I do not want to be texting you this, but I've been tasked with keeping an eye on you because you cannot behave, so tone it down, please. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, so now Maya has disclosed mod powers, which means she also needs to be more respectful, acting as a mod, because her authority is objective. I might have to explain that a bit. I'll do that later. Okay, Spiral. I think everyone should leave it alone at this point. It's gone too far. We'll pick it back up once the lion weighs in on the bounds of this channel. Spiral, love you, man. Oh no, and now we're playing telephone, because to this point, Maya did not call him racist. But he did make racially charged claims. Maya said, chill out on the race stuff. Yep, okay, so Adhilde sees this. Yeah, very insightful. Your inputs into this conversation, Adhilde, has been very, like, at the point of leverage. You know, his argument has gone from, I'm saying something controversial, here's my source, to constantly saying, I'm not racist. It's like, hey, bro, it's a little weird that you keep having to say that. Who the hell do you think you are? Well, she just said that she's been tasked with keeping an eye on you. And Mitch, that was true. You know, if she disclosed it, then she knew the whole time. No, yes. So she need to. So I would have wanted Maya to have been more clear if she was going to act as a mod, and if she was with like the objective authority outwardly, I would have wanted her to approach this differently. I got to go study for my IQ test, bro. Funny, good reference. How am I supposed to take that seriously considering your previous messages? Yeah, fair. I didn't want an Autumn to say he was wrong. I didn't realize she hadn't said it. Adhilde, that's totally cool. Adhilde, I'd say you've conducted yourself very well here too. I admire your behavior here. Yeah, I like to not say the same word twice in a sentence. I asked the question. I didn't say anything racist, dude. Nobody's called you racist except for Adhilde, who mistakenly thought someone else called you racist. So I think you were probably racist, and you're trying to see what you can get away with. You know, or if you're not, you like saying controversial stuff just for the sake of saying it. Either way, like I think you have like a lot of potential. I think you're going to be fine, but maybe I don't want you in the Discord right now. You know, who here thinks illegal immigration in the USA is bad? Alrighty. So also, if a lot of your hot takes are politically charged, I kind of don't want that. But I'm on team. Let's drop this. Okay. So now Adhilde and Spiral have both expressed this. Who's going to drop it? I'm just the person who unfortunately got asked to babysit you. Okay. Again, you are insulting him while also flexing your authority. I don't love that. It's like, who the hell do you think you are? I'm a longtime member of this Discord, and the Lion did ask me to take some moderating, responsibility. But you're, unfortunately, to babysit you, you are now taking this personally, versus like acting as a mod where it's like, he might be mad because you're acting as a mod, but that doesn't mean anything about you, Either way, bad vibe. Okay. Let's see. I'm not race is getting Lion heated. Yeah, because it's just, Spiral, you understand why, right? I want to explain that, but I won't right now. What have I walked in on? Here's the context, guys. I'll pull this back up. Time to take a break. Okay. Oh, what's up, Mimi? No way the Mitch situation is still going on. Yeah. Have you not been on since yesterday? Yeah, you get everything, right? All right. So I will apologize for being condescending. So we're on two different chats, by the way. So Mitch, Maya says, I will apologize for being condescending. Sorry, Mitch. And I'm glad she said that for my sake as well. Most interesting live is, what's up, Mimi? I don't know if you're in the Discord, but there's some stuff happening. Hi, Spiral. I'm not racist. All right. So here's the context for some of the people who've joined. I'm going to take a few bites of my food. Thank you, Mimi. I don't know that I need to apologize per se, because I wanted to do a soft rollout. Brianna, I bet it's ASMRing pretty loud on this mic, huh? Sorry. The other chat is on the big video platform. Okay. I'll send you the bill. Okay. So here's the context. We're evaluating a band. Save some cereal. It's Thai curry, guys. Okay. I want things to be simple. You understand? So it doesn't have to be fair. It just has to be, would my life be easier? Would it be easier to manage this Discord if Mitch was gone? And right now I'm definitely leaning towards yes. Give Mitch a second chance. Okay, let's keep reading. I will say Maya did egg you on, but she egged you on after you said you're fucking stupid, right? So even though I'm criticizing, I have some criticisms of how Maya conducted herself here, but all of that happened after. The lion has good taste in food. Thank you. I will apologize for being on ASMR for sure. Oh, curry. Okay. Yummy. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. You're not important. Yeah. So Mitch, you devolved very quickly to personal and ego. Neither are you. This is like a matching / lower energy. I like this recovery. I did not like I'm the person who got asked to babysit you. Or you could reread what I said, but I'm on team, let's drop this. Or you could reread what I said. That's another bad one. If people are saying drop, I'm a big point in this. Or you could read what I said. You may want to cut off the conversation after they dog on Mitch for a while. I'm wondering if you not thinking the identify with fighting words is because you're a guy. I do think they're fighting words. But fucking stupid is too much of fighting words. So yes, I've actually talked to you about this. I hate the reason why I think K-Bai is not fighting words is because Maya's a woman. Hopefully that's not too controversial. I understand if you have a problem with this thinking, but I do give women some grace for not being outwardly aggressive. I will say this is a TikTok take that I should make. So here it is. There are men who think women are bitches when they are assertive, and these are weak men. Then there are men who think women and men are bitches when they are passive aggressive. That would be me. But I understand that society has conditioned people to not be that way. You should let Mitch join the live and say his piece. Okay. K-Bai is just kind of snarky to me, but not fighting. I think don't care plus didn't ask are fighting words. I think it's mod versus person, not man versus woman. Yes, but at the point where she said, K, thanks, bye, she was just represented as a person who also happens to be a woman. Okay? Maya also has some criticism with how she handled these situations as well. Okay, thank you, Maya. Also period. Yeah, so I think this would be a hot take, but I believe that I'm correct here, which is that if a man said, K, thanks, bye, I would say like, what the fuck did you say to me? You know? Unless the guy could kick my ass. I'm not trying to act like I'm brave, but basically at that point, I am justified to fight a person. Okay? That was my big criticism with Ed. I like that he was talking about Asian issues, but he always took like the, huh? And I like that kind of look enrages me. And it enrages me coming from women too, but women do it more often. Is that nature or nurture? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's at least a significant nurture aspect of it. And so that's why I don't think Kate thinks by is fighting words coming from a woman. Okay, I think it's mod versus person, but she's also the mod. Free Mitch. Release the Mitch files. Did Maya jump into an A minus B? No, Maya jumped into an A, B, C, D. I would say there was 4 regular people. Spiral, another S person who I can't see because I'm on Discord privacy mode. And Adhilde has been chiming in very cogently, very effectively. Adhilde, if you're here. Yes, you're here on the other platform. Chef's kiss. If a guy said that, I think they're kind of fruity. You should make them both shave their heads in punishment Korean style. Make them do community service. Stark. Kuro, thank you for the follow. Imagine wanting to fight a dude because he said, K, thanks, bye. I mean, if I was in an office, would I do that? No. But a guy who tries to have attitude without directly expressing like confrontation, like aggression, can never really have my respect. You don't have to challenge everyone to a fight, but it's like, bro, you got to cut it out. Or like, I don't want to see this. This isn't cool. You got to stop. But if a guy said like, sorry, okay, thanks, bye. It's like, there are guys out there who act like that, but they rub me wrong. Okay. Maya's being equally of an ass as Ed here. As Ed, maybe like Ed, it's the woman's version of full aggro. Maybe I'm blind to that. There's a difference between woman to woman and men to woman. I do think, yeah, K thanks bye is pretty much shuts the door. Is that as bad as I think you're fucking stupid? Right now, no. Does anyone want to argue with that? Send Mitch Dagestan 2 years and forget. Yeah, and then he comes back and he goes 30-0 in the UFC, in the light heavyweight division. I think if it needs this much debate, no, Adam, I'll talk about anything forever. I have 4 sisters and 2 of them used to do that to make me mad. Oh, the other chat also popped. Maya has some criticisms of herself. That's good. It's nurture. Women are taught that this kind of behavior is safer. Yeah. Around pussy men. Not my hair. Here now, for real. Oh, what's up, Dex Presto? Discord internal investigation is crucial. She was saying she didn't care whether or not he was racist and that she didn't imply he was racist when saying don't care, didn't ask, as that's the message she replied to. I think you need to spell that out more explicitly, because don't care, didn't ask is like saying like talk to the hand. You know what I mean? I understand that kind of sentiment where it's like, I don't actually care about the argument. I just think this topic should be paused until we get weighed in by the lion, you know? David Wu, is that an old gift? Well, David Wu, at some point you sent a heart, me, and 4 roses. Thank you. I don't know that we should start evaluating Maya based on general woman behavior. That's true. All right, this is starting to open up into a lot of things. Hot takes channel, but it has to be medium warm. Nope. Can you show the Asian part again? No, I don't want to go up. Let's get to the end of this. Or you could drop it, banned. All right, so Spiral. I've come to trust you to be very objective, even while you are opposed to the person in question. Yep. Ziena, that's the point that I'm aware of. The worst of Maya's behavior happened after. The only thing that happened prior to I think you're fucking stupid is K thanks bye, which is admittedly maybe 25% was a low estimate. I trust CES. I don't want to share information about her, but I already have with my pronouns. So CES happens to be a woman. So, or at least assigned female at birth. All right. I dislike Spiral's takes, but he's very honest. Hey, me too, bro. All right. So Spiral, can you weigh in on this? Is this about the time that I should cut off after banned? Hot take, but don't make it personal attacks and don't make it personal defenses. Whoever crosses the personal line first, I guess I'll make that a rule. They're the problem. All right. Now let's pull up the Google Doc. Oh God, let's get this tab out. Jesus. All right. This was from yesterday. By the way, I think it's just funny. This is what I titled. Oh God. This document is titled Mitch vs. the Pride. The fuck? Even if they're being instigated, the personal attack is the limit. Sorry, Stark. I looked away from chat for a bit. Even if they're being instigated, no. I opened this investigation because I wanted to know if Mitch was instigated. Okay? Only thing I would do differently is not be so personal and no personal attacks. You were also personally defensive when nobody had called you racist. Do you recognize that? Or do you want to debate that? People are saying your source could be biased and you're like, I'm not racist. You know, thank you for the follow, Andrew Ferreira. I wouldn't give him a soft ban, but he has to accept he has a reputation in the Discord now. Mitch recognizes that Shuzu, speaking as the lawyer, would. That too, I didn't recognize it when I said it, but now I do. Yeah, like when I read it out loud as me, yeah, saying I'm not racist over and over when no one said you are is very telling. Okay, and then let me catch up on the other chat. This is also true. Hot take, but don't make it personal attacks. Yeah, that's very fair. W title, love the organization. Titled, I like it's a court case. Yeah, I did that for sure. ADHD coping mechanisms are so useful. You mean like the way I'm doing it? Like I think I'm doing pretty good, staying relatively on topic. It helps that Spiral fucking hates me. You know, he's like, this is gonna be a long read. It's definitely been a long read. How long have we been going for? Let's take a quick look. How long have we been going for? It's not showing me. Oh, an hour and 51. Can we like mute him for 2 weeks or something? No ban, so he can witness how others talk. Wow. CS, fucking. I'm so glad you found me too. Give me the role of don't take seriously. Saying I'm not racist over and over when no one said you are is very telling. Yeah, yeah. On the internet, it's a little bit less so. Make an edit of Mitch fighting a Pride of Lions. My client has been cooperative. He's been mature enough as we sit here putting him on trial. I'll say that. I will say he also took quite a bit of time to argue with Maya when really he needs to be convincing me and the jury. It's been about 12 years. It's enough for a side eye and some mistrust. 100%. 100%. And Mimi. Just like for everybody. Adam addendum. 1 week. Give him the dunce cap. No. Maya racist. No. That mute punishment seems fair. I do like it. Here's the thing though, guys. Here's the thing. Just banning Mitch and wishing him well makes my life and everyone's life easier. Now, okay, thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good. If Mitch wants to be in with us, it'd be nice for him to find a way to give him a second chance. I'm a softie, though. I am also soft. But here's the thing, and this is a story I'll tell one day about a guy kicked out of a pickleball group. I regretted it. I apologize. He's still holding a grudge. And so at this point, I kind of think it's a problem. So it's not about fair. If I were Mitch, I would just get over it. Yeah, so that's why I keep saying like I'm willing to ban him. He's just young. That's where my willingness to forgive comes from. Yeah, and like the night immediately before this, so it kind of cuts both ways. The night immediately before this, I did lay some like rules around as punishment. I should watch Knives Out 3. That's funny, and that kind of humor, like being able to maintain that disposition, goes a long way. I like that. I would if I could. To be frank, what would you do if you could? I can't find it. I gotta learn that I'm make him watch Human Centipede. I am not soft. We would just be allowing a totally not racist guy to lurk in our midst. Fair point. And the I'm not racist, you're left leaning. There was one more thing that he said. Everyone biased. Points to a guy with an ideological axe to grind. Very different from Spiral CS. Not exactly what I want. We could only have so many of people like this. And they'd have to be bound out by the Spiral says. Oh, and Odd Hilde also did pretty well. Maya, I'm sorry you're not on this list. You got sucked into it. And yeah. but imagine a Discord full of only people like that. Okay. What if I am racism? Breaking news, Mitch is in racism. What language do you code in JavaScript? I'm not going to answer side questions like that today. We're evaluating a Discord ban today. Okay, that's the drama of the day. Here's the context. Oh, he's a contrarian. I get it now. Mods get the net. No, not a contrarian. Do POCs here feel uncomfortable with Mitch remaining, or are we being too woke there? Oh yeah. Yeah. Mitch did want to jump into immigration. Yeah, that was the third one. It was, I'm not racist, everyone leaning, immigration. Me personally, the I'm not racist thing gets to me. Mako, would you tell me if you were black or not? And you don't have a profile picture, so I'm just going to take your word. Mitch, I personally am not trying to get in a server that doesn't want me there. That's a good point, Brianna. So I don't think being contrarian is a sin. No, but it does get annoying. You're brown. Cool. And then let me see. I am not soft. Okay, sounds like if Mr. Pickleball is still holding a grudge, it was the right choice. Yeah, yes and no. I did admire about him, and we were friends, that he's willing to be petty. And I admired that about him to a certain extent. But like, I apologized a week after I kicked him out. I was just like, dude, I felt like that's what I had to do. What I didn't want to do is lie while you were getting banned from the pickleball group. So I called you as like the head honcho of the group and said like, hey, this is happening. You're not going to like me after this. I'm sorry. Right? But he hated that. So I don't know that I blame him. I do think it's inappropriate for him to be mad at me a full fucking year later. So, now it's like, whatever. He still doesn't like make eye contact with me. I am only telling my side of the story there. We kicked him out of a pickleball group. And when we made the initial move to kick him out, we weren't honest about it. And then I called him because everyone told me that I had to be the bad guy. And then I was the bad guy. So, and then what really pissed me off is like there's a third party involved who approved the kick. And then afterwards acted like he didn't approve the kick. He was like, oh, it seemed like you guys had your mind made up. That really, on a personal level, that put a barrier up between me and him forever. Okay, that Knives Out 3 comment was funny. Yes. No, it's good. I'm just concerned he'll learn from this and we might be missing out. Yeah, we might be missing out. I do think the way he went about defending his post before it got heated wasn't productive. Yes, Mitch immediately assumed it would be heated. He's acting like everybody else was stupid when he should be giving everyone a chance. That is also something I did when I was young. Is sometimes I would assume everyone was stupid. I later said something with after the ban, and I think the immigration comment influenced that. I remember, yeah, okay, I'm going to leave that. If we consider constant or scratching Mitch is the right move because it sets a clean precedent. Banning. But I also think allowing him back is fine. Pose the question to BRS. Okay, let me catch up on TikTok chat. As a POC, I wouldn't say I'm uncomfortable per se, but annoyed. Yeah, he said he's 20. Yeah. Why don't you like BRS? Okay. What about a 3-strike method? 3 is too many. I don't even owe him this, but I'm glad I did this because I don't think he was completely unprovoked. He's 20. I don't think the line cares about Mitch's personal development. I do a little bit. I care about people more than I think people would assume just from how hard of an ass I am. That's a lot of burden for mods to deal with though. Yes. No one benefits from him. A ban is good. So that is my main crux, is that like, does Mitch deserve a ban? No. Does Mitch deserve a ban? Mostly no. Does Mitch deserve a ban? Iffy. Is my life, is the Discord easier and less dramatic if without him? Resoundingly yes. But if okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm not counting to 3. Yeah. Adam said no offense. What did he say no offense about? All right, I'm not going to catch up. Is he a wolf among the sheep? Deserve is a strong word. I don't know why this wipe has to do to agreeing with the POC one. Everyone has benefited from a ban except him. Pros outweigh the cons. Mitch, I'm sorry. Yes, resoundingly. Like you adjusted to the movie comment, right? And so it's like, I wanted this to work. But we've had 2 issues and you're at the heart of both, right? And I'll admit the movie one is not a huge issue. That was more just like me catching the early warnings. Rules was unclear in hot takes. This is true. Technically a road rage incident. Watson is doing good work as a lawyer. 3 strikes is too many for sure. It's sort of not fair to Mitch because he's kind of becoming an example, but that's the risk you take when fighting in a private group. Yes, 100%. And I want to make this clear to Mitch. I want to make this clear to all the people watching. The reason why I'm also flippant with the ban is Mitch will be fine. This is my Discord. It has like 50 people in it right now. You know, he did personally insult people with the movie thing too. Yeah, that's true. He said this is for people who don't want depth and need things spelled out. All it does is keep someone who people already dislike in a server. That's prime time for arguments. Yeah. Is there recovery for this? How about we all just become friends? Why, I can't believe I'm Mitch. Fair isn't going to be doable if the Discord grows. Yeah, fair is not doable today, right? This is my Discord. And the people who like me, and then basically the people who I also like, I want in there. Now, do I like Mitch? Yes, because he's 20 and he took criticism very well. He's been sitting here while he's been on trial for like an hour and 50, and he's not freaking out. Mitch has been a source of good content. Yeah, but I don't want that. I do want content. I do want repeatable content, but this is not how I'm going to do it. You know, I talked to someone who manages social media creators today. It's kind of crazy that happened. And she's just a childhood friend of someone else. And when she started telling to me like what I need to do to get to the next level, I was like, you know what? I'm going to not do that. You know, hopefully I can still keep getting to the next level, but like the things she was describing, I was like, I don't want to do that. True, if he comes back, there will be tension. Yep, that's an unoriginal name. Maya and Mitch enemies to lovers arc, just divorced my husband. That's a very odd meet cute. Nah, I'm not embarrassed. Mitch, you should not be embarrassed. I will say this, and I'll write this down on the doc. Should Mitch feel embarrassed? Not really. He did suboptimally. You should be embarrassed, but the conflict itself was not one-sided. However, he keeps saying he's not racist. I'm gonna leave that off in case anyone comes in. I just don't want that. I'm not bad. Mitch, I'm glad because I feel bad. What if we flip a coin? Yeah, also keep in mind this guy's 20. I think holding a grudge against him for it is childish. Yeah, Adam, you say that, but now every time that Maya or I think Spiral can handle it just fine. This was really between Maya and Mitch at the end of it. Yeah, so people will have a bias against him. He's always going to feel a little bit unwelcome. But would I have Oh, let me increase the margin on the right. How do I put the margin on the right? Why aren't things like this? Oh, I like that. Mitch is Mitch racist? Who do I bribe in this case? Mitch just got to add I'm not racist to his bio. That's funny. Mitch is talking in third person now. Be honest, are you racism? Onika, racism equals burgers. Lemo, JK, of course. Mitch has been doing better with this than I would. Kudos to him for that, but I think I'm convinced that he should keep his ban. I'm worried POC will see his content. Yeah. The race place to start. He's just in a different world, I will say. He's calibrated differently, and I know what it's like to be that. Mimi crying. What does it say to call out a wrong behavior and immediately give no more chances? How is someone expected to grow if immediately outcast? Jay Ganzi, that's not my problem. His growth is not my problem. I do hope he keeps growing. I expect that he will. He watches the Lion on TikTok, so he's obviously aligned with part one, where to appeal to ego. But yeah, at least if it didn't inspire, he doesn't have to remind anyone in the chat. That's funny, Tiffany. The group algorithmically part two. Yeah, that's true. Your Honor, my client is built different. Okay, the Lion is quite empathetic. Okay, let me summarize these thoughts. Summary. It'd be easier for me and everyone to leave him out. Now, the second one, would I have banned him if I had read the whole thing? Ideally, I would have caught it sooner. Bro will live his life fine after this. Yep, Your Honor, my client is built different. I agree, not good for impartial judgment. Also, it's literally just a Discord. He could still chat here in lives. Yeah, I'm absolutely not going to block him. Let me make this. He has handled criticism immaculately during the live. I do think that means your growth rate will be high, Mitch. If that means anything coming from me, I do think your growth rate's going to be high. It would be easier for me and everyone to leave him out. He has handled the criticism immaculately during the live. He got not very defensive. He got defensive very fast during the conversation. I mean, people could also just not engage with them. Yeah, but it'll make people not want to talk. Wonston, this is what I'm worried about. People said they liked Knives Out. Mitch went pretty hard at Knives Out. I made a hot take channel. He immediately found it and said, like, this is my type of channel. So there's self-awareness there. I want to give him credit for that. And again, Mitch, I'm giving you a lot of credit for you just sitting here, being chill, finding this entertaining as you should. I'm like Simba and you are Mufasa. Would appeal to my ego. Like, I think you're going to be fine either way, Mitch. But, so I want to point back to these 3 points. It'd be easier for me and everyone to just leave you out and just forget about you. You know what I mean? It's easier for us. I think this is hilarious. Yeah, it is funny, right? He got defensive very fast. You got defensive very fast. You admitted to that and apologized. You said you would do that differently. Maya did escalate and did not disclose mod status, congruent mod behavior. Apologized. Mitch, does it matter to you that Maya apologized? Plus, think about how crazy, stupid we feel if we unbanned him. What's going on, King? 300 kg. There's some Discord drama. We're near the end of it. So the context is here. This is the context. Free Mitch. That's true. And as far as I know, he didn't violate anything in general today. No, because she's still that type of person to begin with. Yeah, she shouldn't have Art by Cats. To be fair, the Discord's been what it is for maybe like a week and a half. So no, Spiral. I like the honesty. Free Mitch. Thank you, Brianna. It is good. It's kind of lukewarm. I let it sit for like an hour while I was reading Discord. Make a Mitch channel. So one thing I did wrong was not announce the mods and what their responsibilities are. Do you think Mitch and Maya will coexist on this after the server? Mitch channel is funny. That's fair. It's not your job. He is kind of on a redemption arc here. I hope he keeps up his redemption arc. Maybe a 1-year ban. Make a whole new Mitch server. We only let him eat when he was done reading to us. 1v1 Octagon. At least it helps define boundaries of no personal attacks in the future. Yeah, and no dismissive tone. Enemies to lovers. I do like CES's suggestion. I agree Maya was out of line and immature. Mitch versus Maya. Mitch gonna be an urban legend in the Discord. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat because this is a TikTok live, but I need to think about this. If you don't unban, you'll never hear the end of it in the Discord. Let it slide, but everyone is watching. We'll forget about it in a week. Anyone named Mitch that joins and gets auto banned? Oh, I don't think that's true. We'll forget in about a week. I think so, and if we don't, then it's a problem. Banned from Hot Takes channel? Yeah, absolutely not. I will make sure. Would you be interested in having containment for aberrant community members? This won't be the last. No, Shudru, I'm going to be banning pretty fast. The only reason I went back to look at Mitch is because he's very receptive to criticism yesterday. And some or another, I posted another update where I really felt like I was doing good and then I caved. Sorry, I got to focus on this. Mitch, I left a comment. I did update the Clash Royale link. Maybe it's a problem with the open link. Oh yeah, Adam. Yeah, everyone always comments about my... he still hasn't let me into the clan. It's Clash Royale. It's Clash Royale, everyone. Chill. 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 It's Clash Royale. Oh yeah, Mimi got kicked for being inactive. Sorry, Mimi. 1v1 Mitch for ban. Oh yeah, both of you guys have 1 week to prepare Clash Royale. Okay. Did the client knowingly disrupt the peace? Yes, but there were steps to get there. All right, Mitch. I'm top 1200 in Clash. Oh shit. Join the clan, bro. All right, Mitch, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my gut response. And I'm going to stick with it. You do not need to be made a pariah. You're out of the Discord, though. If you were to make some other alternate name and try to get back in, what's up, Log? Oh, you missed a good stream. I think it was pretty good. I don't know. Mitch, if you were to make an alternate account and come back on, and then you try to not get discovered, which means, you do hot takes, but you don't go immediately to like the staunch right-wing talking points, right? I would not be on the lookout for that. would I know it was you? But yeah, so I'm not gonna hit the unban button on the account that I banned from there. I'm in Brazil, dude. Have fun in Brazil, bro. I'm evaluating a ban that I made from Discord. It's been tough. Yeah, L. I think you're gonna mature fast. I think you're gonna change in some ways. I think you're gonna follow a lot of the paths that I followed, but that's not what any of this is about. I made a Discord so that I could talk about books, and then people started talking about their lives in there. For the record, Mitch, I wasn't super happy with how Maya conducted herself here. She also wasn't happy with herself. Yeah, if you want back in, yeah. So Mimi, I realize that sounds like a bitch way for me to. I realize that looks like a bitch way for me to make a call, but it actually makes a lot of sense. It's like if you want to come back in under a different name so that there's no vibes, no residual vibes, and two, make it so that it's not obvious that it's you again, you know? Maya will reflect on her behaviors. What does Mitch drive? Oh, shoot, you about cars? Sorry, let me catch up on the YouTube side. Maya Peach, I can behave. Okay. I don't think there's a single person who's since shown himself capable of behaving will cause too big of issues directly. The main concern is how people will feel about him moving on if he's unbanned. He could definitely... All right. Yeah, you're making me flip-flop, but yeah, Mitch, you're out. Sorry. I want my life to be simple. You know, if I was running like a youth program, I would put a higher burden of proof on myself, but no. Damn, that goalpost moved real quick. I guess him being anonymous, yeah. That's what I'm telling them. If you want to sneak back in, go ahead, bro. He could be the example. No, it's not about making an example. So part of the reason why I didn't make an announcement about mods, and I said like, let me know if someone is causing issues, right? So I would say Maya acted outside of authority. I was very vague about it because I didn't have my Discord mapped out and planned. So that's on me. I got banned while Maya gets nothing. Yeah, I mean, you did more wrong, bro. Forgive Mitch. Let us fight your case. The ban is fair. Maya acting like that and not getting punished is unfair. Mitch, basically, I didn't want to say this right now. I wanted to think about it, but I'm leaning against Maya being a mod. She set the tone in general early. That's why I reached out to her. But I think here, Spiral and Oddhilde have shown that they're very fair. Maya did apologize to you, but yeah. All right, that's my decision. And then I'm going to play some Type Racer. All right, I'm going to flex my typing speed for a bit. Art by Cats. No, I haven't. I need to do my foot exercises. All right, so that was me typing, guys, and me chewing at the same time. Nitro type race for unban. We can see the aimbot, but absolutely not. This was a coup to deplatform Mitch, lock in, like an hour to say he was permabanned. Now watch me hit this drive. Thank you, Mitch. That's so funny. Or Spiral, thank you. That's so funny. 10 sets of democracy over whatever feels right. It's not a democracy. It's whatever feels right. After that, all that, we transition. Mitch opened a Truth Social account. You had no idea that this would happen. Honestly, I like this, clearing the air while letting him prove himself. If only more people were so transparent with their decisions. When can we get the Ratchler stream? What is that? And he's back at wanting to fight Maya. I guess we'll see who's right away if he sneaks back in, if he continues that particular habit. With typing and Clash Royale, to be fair. Yeah. I'm about to go on a Nick Fuentes pod. Yeah, Mitch, you're funny. You take things in stride. But, oh, by the way, guys, in the last 24 hours, I'm the second fastest. I wonder if the first fastest is using a bot. That's a little bit of cope. Here to cancel out, though, he double-checked. He's good like Santa. Yeah, like Mitch, I think you're going to grow fast because you can take a lot of, like, feedback. And usually people will say that when they've just finished, like, laying into you. Like, here's the things. I think, one, you kept on getting defensive, but you didn't really insult anyone other than to say you're left-leaning and you're biased, which are within the scope of argument. It's not what, like, people like Spiral would do. Plot twist, Mitch is Maya. That would be insane. Mitch, sneak into the Discord, infiltrate. Yeah, what if he sneaks into the Discord, becomes a mod, and then, like, ruins the Discord? Mitch to Maya pipeline, Mitch Coop. The Ratchler is a game on browser. Oh yeah, should I look at the picture at the bottom of the Discord? I'll look at it off screen first. Okay, jump to present. Oh, there's a lot of discussion here as well. Where did I get tagged with the image? I'm in the top 1%. I see more of this. I see more of this perfectly. Survivorship Bias Award. Oh, okay. I don't think this is the fallacy that... it is, isn't it? It is. Okay. Yeah. Spiral, I mean, that's what I'm about to do. Oh yeah, that's true. You could be plotting your revenge. So, Mitch, Maya, are you guys okay with me uploading this video to YouTube? Would you guys be okay with that? Yeah, but you gotta unban or no. I'm not making money off of that side, guys. Look. I am far from money, guys. Thank you, guys. Mitch, I am serious. The only way this would work is if you came back under a different name and tried to not get found out. Why are you looking at me like that? No, when I make eye contact. Should I pivot? Do I have it in me to be a mukbanger? Spend an hour talking about a band for the fucking love of the game. You bet your ass. That's right. I do want to focus my energy on thinking about things. Maya is chill with it. What if we change his name in the story? That's the problem. We've already said Mitch a billion times, and it was on the stream. I'm mad. You honestly do. I honestly do need to focus my energy more. Yeah. We should do a stream for every band. We might. Better than doom scrolling. That's what you required for so long. Mitch, I'm dying. That's why you're quiet for so long. Why? What happened? You can upload it. I don't care. Thank you, Mitch. Check hot takes. Are you for trans racism? Thank you, Spiral. How many people would show up to get banned and people talk for 2 hours about them? Yeah. What did Mitch even do to get unbanned? The phrase in question log is, I think you're fucking stupid. He said that to another member. The other member was being dismissive of them. And he was too open about not being racist. Calling someone stupid. Fundamentally, yes. Nothing. Lying lies. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave this. And remember, future bans aren't going to be fair. They're not all going to be litigated like this either. I'm doing what makes things easy for me and then leaves me with a good Discord where people are cool. Okay? No way we're still on this. Of course we are, Landon. The real question was the other person being stupid? They were being confrontational in a not necessarily aggressive way, but extremely dismissive. I'll say that's the summary. That is a towel over the fire alarm while they were doing fire alarm testing. All right. So that's kind of it. I feel like that was a lot of focused stuff. So maybe you should uncover that line. I don't know, Mimi. I'd rather die to a fire than get woken up. Why is it chewing so HD? Because I have this baller ass mic. I thought that was odd art. What does it look like to you guys? Yeah, just odd art. I'm never going to catch up with the chat after this. like a banana taped to the wall. Yeah, this costs $473,000. I spent all of my TikTok money on that. Ideas and feed. Can you make a channel like 18 plus? Galaxy for unban. No, sorry, Mitch. You're banned. An old hot water bottle. What is that? Okay. Text channels, hot takes. Should I make this 18 plus? Is that something I could do? Manage webhooks. Yeah, LeBron, but it covers my ass the way it covers Discord's ass. Okay. Just in case. And find the overview tab and toggle the age restricted overview. Channel topic, slow mode, age restricted channel. Can I do that? No, hot takes. Not political. Anything goes. Hot takes. But if I make a hot takes channel, you know what? I'll just say, you know what, don't discuss too much about race. Let's add that to the rules right now. I'll put that in announcements. Am I the only one? I need a channel where I'm the only one that can make things. All right, there's a lot of things. God fucking damn this typing. Yeah, bro, I type like crazy. All in the DMs. Have the mods do ID checks. I don't think Discord has a way. Yes, you can make it age restricted. You got a fax. So you okay? Lukewarm takes. Hot takes, not political. Yeah, let's keep it that way for now. And then I'll also make the channel age restricted. Hot takes. And then I'll make the rule that if people are telling you to drop something, then you drop it. How'd you learn to type that fast? I was the age where you start talking to girls when AOL Instant Messenger came out, but before texting. So I learned to type. Okay, guys, it's been 2.5 hours. This was awesome. River, if you need help setting channels, DM me. Thank you. My people will take that so wrong and think it's worse. As well, so we can have the mods actually mod. People will take that so wrong. Oh, my burner account. What's up, Forever Player Made? Oh, you're on this platform. Thank you, bro. You missed so much. Oh, man, this was a good one. Mr. Lion, can we expose my masterpiece? What, can we do an art reveal? Should we do that? Do you guys want to do that real quick? Let's do that. I don't mind. This is kind of a cool thing to do. Okay. Pet pictures, art. I guess, should I be careful? I don't want people to feel like everything they say here could become super public. You know, not that it's crazy, but 35 viewers. River, if you need help setting. Bro, I was driving back to Texas. What's with everybody in my content driving all the time? Oh, you DM'd it to me. All right, let's take a look. All right, guys. Maya made this. He missed it. Go through the messages again. Yeah. Mako, I love you. Will alternate bites. Yes. Low res pic of my dog. There's like 4 pixels. Okay. Oh, is this going to get me in trouble, though? It's depicting something. Okay. All right. I think that's it for the live today. So just so you guys know, I'm all over the place now. It will make it easier for me. There's a wider screen on a different platform. You know, there's a wider screen on a different platform. Y'all feel me? Okay. You would love Hank Green's Wikipedia page. For sure that will get you in trouble. Thank you, Spiral. Oh wait, I didn't think about that. The only pics I posted to Measure, you can show her as much as you want. Oh wait, I didn't think about that. Oh, it's okay. W Live, W Pride. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit the button in like 30 seconds. All the people who are here, start to finish, thank you. Mitch, yeah, I appreciate how you've behaved yourself, or how you've conducted yourself after the incident. You know, see you later, Spiral. See you later, Mimi. Art by Cats. Wanston, you acted as a good lawyer. There was another guy, Shooks or whatever, Sooks. Mako, you were here quite a bit. I'll DM you on Discord for clan invite. Okay, fair enough. Randall, take care. The Mitch incident. Good night, gamers. Good night, Maya. Good night, Oddhilde. Good night, Tiffany. You've been here for most of this too. Thank you. Forever Player Made, if you're still watching, peace out. Stream tomorrow, probably. I'll try to aim for a consistent time. I like that people are watching. It feels good. Okay, guys, take care. You posting this on TikTok? I'll post it on YouTube, Mitch. Oh, good night, Waddy.